Atlanta says you can simplify saving through automated withdrawals.
Keep it consistent, keep it simple, and set it automatic.
And if you want to boost your credit score,
request a credit limit increase. In a lot of cases, that lowers the utilization rate.
I'm Rob Hart.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Got a tree causing big trouble in a tiny space? Don't risk it. Call the experts who specialize in the impossible jobs. At Tree Wise Guys of Connecticut, we handle the heavy lifting so you don't have to. From precision limb cutting and stump grinding to full land cleaning and emergency storm damage cleanup. No job is too big and no space is too tight. When it matters most, trust the guys who know trees. Trust Tree Wise Guys of Connecticut. Visit treewiseguysct.com today to get a free quote on your next project. That's treewiseguysct.com. Are you a commercial building owner in southern New England? Are you frustrated with your roof services? Contact Eagle Rivet Roof Service today. Our skilled technicians provide tailored roof repair and maintenance programs to maximize your building's lifespan. With 24/7 emergency response and comprehensive service options, we are Greater New England's trusted commercial roofing provider. Visit EagleRivet.com for a complimentary inspection or call 860-953-1231. Protect your investment with Eagle Rivet.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! I'm feeling a little better. What's going on, scallywags? Nutmeggers, conversationalists, and I will never forget you haters. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. It's a Tuesday. Weird day. I got so much stuff going on, and I have to pace myself. I don't think in my career I've ever been as busy as I am right now. And it's good. It's great. I feel fantastic doing it. I don't like the cold, but I like doing what I'm doing. It's very, it's fast-paced. I'm never bored. But then again, I'm rarely ever bored. So a lot of stuff coming into the fold, formulating. I have wonderful support here at WTIC. And thank everybody. We had a lunch with the folks at Salvation Army, and they gave me a very, very beautiful gift that I can't wait to bring home to my wife. And I don't know. It's just it's been an interesting day. So I'm very excited. Yesterday, if you did not hear, or maybe you saw it online, we had Ryan Fazio, candidate for governor, on the show yesterday, and I asked him if he would take part in a 11th Commandment debate with his other counterparts running for the same office on the Republican side. Of course, that includes Betsy McCoy and Aaron Stewart, to which Ryan, you guys know, agreed. Yep, absolutely. Betsy McCoy said, yes, I will do it. Nothing from Aaron Stewart yet. Not that they've refused. I want to make sure that's clear, because I know everybody's online going, what happened with Aaron? We didn't hear anything from Aaron. Relax. It's okay. I think I'm going to be seeing Aaron on Thursday. So I'll bring it up. I'm sure we will have her on board. Now, truth be told, if anyone wants to opt out, that's fine. We'll take whomever. The objective, it's not about me. It's not about, WTIC. This is about you. This is an opportunity for you to listen to the candidates, to meet them up front, for them to vie for your vote. What I want them to do is to sway you. You can't really do that on some of these networks. Hey, God bless them. I'm not throwing any shade. But, I was watching that debate between Chris Murphy and Matt Corey. And you sit there and you've watched these enough and you go, who wants to sit through this? Like, who wants to witness this? This almost seems like, you ever see those paid programming shows for stuff you would never buy that's not about you? It's like a home shopping network clip with someone selling something bedazzled. It's that kind of boring. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. I want to do something exciting and new. Come aboard. I'm sorry, I couldn't say it without singing. Anyway, I just want to do something different. Okay? I want to do something different. And my cohorts here, Morgan Cunningham, Brian Shackman, and myself, we deserve to hold something like this. It'd be nice if the Democrats would show us that respect, but so what? Maybe they will. Maybe afterwards they'll be like, you know what? That was actually pretty good for them. We should do it over there at WTIC, which we would welcome. But if they don't, no, whatever. That's fine. I'm sure Dennis House is available. It always seems like I'm ribbing him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I don't even know. I know Dennis House in passing when he's filled in here. I'm ribbing just for the sake of ribbing. I've got nothing against Dennis House, just so you know. But yeah, really excited. So WTIC is on board. We're working out the kinks. We're going to make this happen. I'm almost certain we've got a venue. I'm almost certain that all of you, like a real representation of you, will be there. What do you think of 100 seats? Huh? No. What do you think of 200 seats? Yeah, we're talking about doing this big. So if you're down, we're down. So we already know Ryan's down. We already know that Betsy's down. We get Aaron down. That's it. It's done deal. We start working it. Let everybody else come to us, begging us to get in. Can we come? Can we? WFSB knocking on the door. Can we be there too? Can we bring a camera? No. Sure, why not? But you know the drill. We'll do a whole bunch of stuff. It'll be fun. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. The details will come, and we'll break them down to you. Today, I want to talk a little bit about this Billie Eilish thing, because there's something very important that happened at the Grammys on Sunday that must be addressed in the future. You see, what happened at the Grammys was something we've seen happen for year after year after year after year, watching the ratings of these award shows plummet. Because usually these folks, these privileged, wealthy, narcissistic navel gazers, take it upon themselves to tell the rest of us how we're supposed to live. They wear the pins, they wear the buttons, and they get all of the great news coverage by a bunch of hacks who will never ask them a meaningful question anyway. I see you have the button on like a mind-numb robot. Tell everybody what it means to you. And these people, humming, I don't know. They just made me wear it. I know I'm supposed to because it's good PR. Ugh. But see, the Billie Eilish thing, we must keep the foot on the gas because they wanted to make Billie Eilish the story. The news media couldn't wait. Young upstart says F ice. Where's the button? Says the phrase that pays, ladies and gentlemen. No one is illegal on stolen land. Which makes me ask the question, what if the stolen land was purchased? What I mean by that is, let's say I bought stolen land. You know, like when the crackheads used to come through the neighborhood and say, yo, my man, I got this VCR, $5. You know, back when the VCR was like $600. And he sells it to me for $5. I'm just trying to get a jumbo rock, son. I'm just trying to get a jumbo rock. Yo, just give me $5. Just give me $5. And then I have said $5 VCR because I bought it dirt cheap. And the cops come around the corner. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Reese there, I understand that you bought that VCR off the crackhead, huh? Yeah, let's get your hands behind your back in possession of stolen goods. I'm just saying, that's what happens. Right? You bought it from a known crackhead. You didn't buy it from the store. You didn't buy it from the thrift place. You bought it hot. Apparently, Billie Eilish has a $3 million hot piece of property because it was purchased while it sits on stolen land. While she's telling everyone else that no one is illegal on stolen land. Which I guess in some ways, Billie Eilish can say that she is not illegally in possession of native land because no one is illegal on stolen land, even if her realtor stole the land and then sold it to her. Or whoever owned it before. But nonetheless, she still bought stolen land and now is in possession of said hot stolen item. And I say we make her give it up. I say she's not allowed to do another interview unless she gives up the stolen land. That is the criteria. Said this to you before. We'll say it again. Not allowed to set the table and then not eat off of it. If you set the table that we all have to eat from and you keep telling us this is how you set the table and this is where the table you eat from, Billie Eilish must eat from it too. So, if no one is illegal on stolen land and Billie Eilish's home sits on stolen land, she must be made to atone. She's got to give it away. No, she cannot sell it. No, she cannot make a profit off of it. Nope, she stole it. Doesn't matter if she spent $3 million. She bought hot stuff. I never get my $5 back from the crackhead. I got to give up the stolen goods and I got to face a charge. Well, Billie, you're in possession of stolen property. I don't care how much you paid for it. You don't deserve it. You took it from poor indigenous people. You never offered them anything. They can't even squat. I've seen the property. Can you believe this woman's got the nerve, the audacity, or as Roseanne likes to say, the caucasity, to have a gate up around her property? Yes, she's got a border fence around her property. I guess because it's worth $3 million. But she can have borders, but we cannot because, again, no one is illegal on stolen land. I mean, that means that anyone who chooses to should be able to walk right in onto Billie Eilish's property and just sleep there, according to her. Now, why should all the rest of us live by her standards and not her? She must give up the land now. And if the real estate agent is smart, or whomever she bought the house from, just give her $3 million back. Just say, hey, you can't live here. All right? You can't live here. We have to give the land back. I don't see any efforts being made to do it, and I don't hear anybody else. I mean, all the criticism online, so what? I don't care if you're on X or on Facebook or on a Snapchat talking about Billie Eilish. She's a hypocrite. Nope, not enough. Not enough. I demand satisfaction. She must live by the standards. She must live, more so, she must live by the things she got all the press for. She was the headline everywhere. And that's got to cost something. She got up on stage and said it. So there must be. She must live by it. She's got to go, oopsie, I didn't know that I purchased stolen land. Oh, in good faith, I'm going to give it up. The Tongva people who originally owned this land, you get it back. I can always buy a new home because I'm Billie Eilish. Oops, I made a mistake. Tongva people, you can have this land. It belongs to you. And I don't think we take anything short of that. I don't want to hear any nonsense about, oh, I misspoke. Oh, I didn't mean me. No, you mean you. You mean, or you're going to have to come back. Like I said about Trevor Noah, you're going to have to get back on the TV, and you're going to have to say, I was wrong. I made a mistake. If you purchased the stolen land for a considerable amount of money, you should be allowed to live there. I spent $3 million on the land formerly owned by the Tongva people, and they ain't getting it back. What I said about stolen land, I misspoke. I believe that all land is purchasable. And if you own something on stolen land, enjoy, you can afford it. Until then, she's got to give it up. There's no, she can't short this. She must give up the property, however she plans on doing it. She must give it up. She is not allowed to live on stolen land. Or she's got to take in some stragglers, maybe harbor some fugitives, something. Maybe put a sign out on the block. Maybe she could put the speech from the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to sleep on my couch. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. And I don't want to argue about it anymore. I don't want to debate about it anymore. I don't want to hear another thing about it. Billie Eilish gives up her land or nothing. Or nothing. She's not allowed to do another interview. I think the first thing, she comes up with a new song. Hey, Billie, heard you got a new record out. You give up that land yet? Because we're not playing your song on this radio station until you give up the land to the indigenous people you stole it from. You want to make another dime? Give it up. Make them. And everybody else, make them do it too. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You huddled masses yearning to sleep on my couch. Where do I come up with this stuff? I don't know. That was funny. Anyway, we got to take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. We got a guest today. Brandon is on the show to talk about Nigeria Stick around for that. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I needed a refresh in my home. I needed to zhuzh up my dull gray walls, and I knew just who to call. Serta Pro Painters. They gave me free estimates, reliable communication, and professional painting, all at the right price. They left my home spotless, and they even helped me pick out a color that I love. I also love each Serta Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated. So if your home needs a zhuzh too, schedule your free estimate online today at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose Serta Pro Painters.
And now, a WTIC news update.
.230 Hartford temperature 32 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We'll call it a mix of sun and clouds for the balance of the afternoon. Temperatures in the 30s. Bob Cox is in with the forecast details coming up. The House has passed a roughly $1.2 trillion spending package to end the partial government shutdown. Bill next goes to President Trump for his signature. The vote wraps up congressional work on 11 of the 12 annual appropriations bills, funding the vast majority of the government for the budget year ending September 30th. The 2026 General Assembly session here in Connecticut gets underway on Wednesday. It's a short session this year, only 13 weeks. Governor Lamont is promising a tax rebate on electricity bills. He'll talk about that and other elements in his State of the State address on Wednesday, which you can hear live at noon on WTIC News Talk 1080. Still no developments in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities believe she was likely abducted. She was last seen Saturday at her home in the Tucson area. State police in the town of Washington are looking for a driver who drives erratically along Route 109 every morning in a different vehicle with different license plates. The driver managed to elude police, led him on a high-speed chase along Route 8. Photos are available at WTIC.com. President Trump calls for Republicans to nationalize elections in some parts of the country, arguing Democrats will try to interfere with the midterms, while Democrats criticize the president for trying to do the same thing. WTIC News Time is 2:32. Bob Cox with the forecast.
Conditions remain dry and relatively comfortable out there this afternoon. Highs about 30 to 35 in most areas, and wind speeds are mostly 10 miles per hour or less. Tonight, partly cloudy conditions, lows in the single numbers and teens. Wednesday's mostly sunny, the high around 30 degrees. Clear to partly cloudy Wednesday night with single-digit lows, and Thursday features a mix of sun and clouds, the high around 30. Sun mixing with clouds Friday, highs 25 to 30 degrees. A bit of light snow or snow showers Friday night could coat the ground, and then it becomes partly sunny, windy, and very cold Saturday. Highs only in the teens, and Sunday's also windy and bitterly cold with a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures don't get out of the teens. In fact, some parts of the state may see highs holding between 10 and 15 over the weekend, and the wind chills Saturday night reach minus 10 to minus 30. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down over 450 points. NASDAQ's down nearly 500, and the S&P is down 91 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Odyssey Hartford celebrates Black History Month, honoring Black icons. Bell Hooks was an author, feminist, activist, and scholar who created over 70 pieces of published work, ranging from films to children's books. One of her most notable works, All About Love, New Visions, influenced generations of feminists, educators, and artists. Hooks displayed to the world that the best way to make an impact is by talking back. Odyssey Hartford, celebrating Black artists, athletes, and trailblazers all month long. More on the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by Albertus Magnus College, where your dreams become reality.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up.
Cash flow, tariffs, payroll, taxes. Every day starts with a full plate.
So you got ahead of it.
Had to. That's why I checked out LendSeek.
How was the process?
It was simple. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding options. Fast, clear, and no games.
Any upfront costs?
None. Zero out of pocket. No prepayment penalties either. Up to $5 million. With funding in as fast as 24 hours.
Start ready, stay ready. Lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Hey, we're back. Reese on the radio here. I understand that the Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon had to cancel an appearance here in Connecticut. And I was going to do something about that later on in the show, but I think I'm going to address it briefly now. Maybe I will continue to talk about it in the show because I went to go look this up. The school, the McKinley School that she was supposed to go to, I went to go look up the proficiency at that school. And the proficiency at that school in math and reading is 50%. And according to reports, that is good. Half the school isn't proficient. Half the school. In this school and the parents in the school have a problem with Linda McMahon coming to the school. And they created such an uproar that it had to be canceled. So I'm going to extend that invitation to Mrs. McMahon and her team, if she wishes to at least get an opportunity to speak to parents who missed an opportunity to have this administration come to the state. You guys don't know what you are turning down. When someone shows focus on your school district, or especially in Washington, when they do that, you're not supposed to squander that. You clearly missed the importance of having Linda McMahon there. To be on the radar in Washington, you just don't dismiss that. And let me explain this to you so that you get it. Which again, I'm still trying to figure out why the parents would be in an uproar. Now there's a report today that says now the parents are trying to find out how it ever happened in the first place. Okay. So imagine hearing that I'm going to phrase this a different way because I'm going to sound a little bitter here. Because I equate this to what a single mom does with her child when the father wants visitation. The woman will say all day, every day around her friends, you know, the boy really needs his father. You know, his father in his life, you know, teach him how to be a young man, how to grow up to be, you know, confident and strong. And then privately, the father's going, hey, I'd like to see my son, take him out to the game this weekend. Well, you know, you ain't really shown any respect to this household. Or they're held up for things like child support or something like that. But usually the child is used as a carrot for the father. Father's moved on with his life, but he still wants to be in the child's life. But mother's too bitter about it. And always wants to punish the father, using the child as a pawn. Then telling all her friends, I love my kids. I'm trying just so hard to be a good mother. It's so difficult out there. Then when the father wants to take part in that, raising the child, providing for the child, mother's a complete, you know the word I'm looking for. And she plays that game. Now look at this. At this school And here's somebody who wants to come by and show the school some respect. Washington, come down and promote a new initiative, how the school can benefit. And what do the parents do? Oh, they drag their own politics in. We don't like the Trump administration or anybody that's a part of it. So no, we don't want that kind of recognition on our school. To have the national cameras on our little school so that people know that what we're doing and be proud of our kids and the learning that is happening in our school district, in our community, so that other people can model it. No, we can't do that. So I just want to say, hey, Mrs. McMahon, if your team wants to come up to Connecticut, you want to sit here, share that message with the people of Connecticut, simple-minded, fair-minded people. When I say simple-minded, in a sense, they don't see everything through the lens of politics. They care about their kids' education as you do, clearly. You can come here. Of course, they can have the option of turning, but they can't yell and scream, who invited them over here, WTIC? I can say, I did. So if you want that opportunity, it'd be a pleasure to have you here. I hope you'll take us up on it. I understand Adam 12 is reaching out to them now, so I said that I would say something if they're interested in coming by. Please do. We'd love to have you here. It's nothing for me. It's for the people who missed a great opportunity, which, again, it baffles me. Baffles me. I used to say that about mothers who used to use their kids as pawns. And I go, you do understand that you are limiting the amount of love your child receives. Like, you do understand it. Like, you're cutting off an avenue where somebody can love them more. They could be, maybe a missing part of their life. Here's somebody who wants to bestow more love on them. And you are hindering that because of your own little issues with that individual. That person wants to love, care, nurture, and give something to that child, and you are treating the child like a pawn, a carrot, as a tool. And then telling all your friends, it's so hard being a mother. It's just so difficult. These people, it's hilarious. No wonder, they can just castrate and mutilate these kids, put them in dresses, treat them like a Hermes bag. No wonder. These children are nothing more than accessories to them. So, I don't know. Just kind of sad to watch that. Really, really sad to watch that. So I just learned during the break that Billie Eilish isn't the only person sitting on stolen land. It turns out Dopra Winfrey, she's sitting on stolen land too. Next week's halftime show performer, Really Horrible Bunny, while he'll be dancing in... I'm sorry, what? Did you call him a fantastic artist? Okay, whatever. Horrible Bunny, who'll be dancing on the gridiron next week Sunday in a pair of red leather boots. Apparently this guy's on stolen land too. Apparently he bought some property that was owned by the Taino. That's a big deal in Puerto Rico. The Taino, everybody's Taino, by the way. Yeah, he sits on his home sits on stolen land too. Telling all the rest of us again how virtuous they are while they sit on stolen land. In my view, look, again, not that I don't believe in anybody taking anything by force. I don't believe in that. That's stealing. Whether you like it or not, it is. But I want these people. Bad Bunny, didn't he go in there and say that? Ice out. I want to first say before I thank God, ice out. He wanted to say ice out before he thanked God. That's what he wants to do. And now tomorrow I'm going to wear drag outfit. ICE out, stolen land, America stolen, all bit, and then buying mansions on stolen land. While the indigenous folks are living right around the corner. And you just drive right by them. Hey, who are those people? Oh, the Togva people. What are they here for? Your house sits on their ancestral land. Oh. So, I don't want to hear another story about Billie Eilish. Every time a story comes up, it's like, hey, she give up the land yet? She give up the property yet? The Tongva people, are they sleeping on her couch? What's the deal? Anybody? She make them breakfast or something? Just anything. It's never going to happen. I don't think any of that stuff is going to happen. I don't think any of these people are ever going to meet the mark. But I will tell you this. They do believe that this stuff is working. They think that everyone's forgotten about the Biden years. That 2025 and Trump's first year is over, and we can get back to the whole moral shaming of people. Stolen land, or no one is an illegal. Soon we're going to hear another conversation about men can get pregnant. No such thing as a man or a woman. There are 72 genders. They're going to get right back to it because, as I said on this show last year, what else do they have? They run out of ideas. They don't have anything new. They don't. Because everything else, and what I tell you was going to happen? The pendulum swings all the way one way, and then it swings back. And then when people start realizing that it swings back, they have to ask themselves, what am I going to do? So more and more people are saying, okay, look, it's true. A man cannot get pregnant. No, there are only two genders. And they lose. And these people have decided, what am I going to do? Am I going to start going with the normies, or am I going to double down on the crazy? And many people, because they cannot admit that they were wrong, or that this was off-putting, or that people were annoyed at having to go along to get along, these people will double down. And I'd also told you that when they double down, they were going to do so violently. Because it doesn't matter to them other than to win. And if you don't agree with them, you're a Nazi. And if you're a Nazi, that means that violence can be put upon you. And so you have to be scared. And scared into silence or scared into agreement. And it's funny because I see a lot of tough guys, so-called tough guys, bowing. It is sad to watch. It's weird looking at a grown man kneel to these people, doing everything they can to appease them. Oh. It's like looking at a dominatrix and her sub. Ooh, it's just, it's brutal. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. Coming up real soon, we've got Brad Brandon from the Washington Times, Daily Wire, and the Christian Post. He'll tell you about his website, acrossnigeria.org, and how you can help with those people struggling, especially Christians, in the northern Nigerian area. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
What if your retirement paycheck never stopped, no matter what the market does? Russ Hackman is president of Hackman Wealth Partners and can talk to you about your forever plan.
You need to have a plan that has certainty of not running out of money in a rising inflationary environment. And if you don't have a forever plan, then you don't really have a plan. Your advisor may be saying, you're fine, but under their breath, it's like, well, until you're age 92, or unless we have a 2008 again, right? You need income and cash flow guaranteed for life. There's multiple ways of doing that. We present to you your own forever plan.
Call for a no-cost, no-obligation comprehensive review, 860-321-6800, 860-321-6800, 860-321-6800.
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Discussion of safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products and are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance company.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I can't get the signal. Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search and follow WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more, I can't get the signal. We've made it easy. WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, I just saw something yesterday. No, actually, it was this morning. Let me rephrase it. It was this morning. And when I saw it, I was somewhat shocked because it just doesn't make sense, nor should it to you. But the Morning Consult had this list of governors based on their approval rating. And I think Governor Lamont is fourth or fifth on the list in the consult. Just to be certain, I want to make sure because I know I saw it this morning. And let me see, Lamont, no, that's that thing he's proposing. Yeah, here it is. It's a list of governors. I had the list here. I thought that was literally sitting right in front of me. Whatever the case may have been, Lamont sits, according to this poll, with a 63% approval rating, only a 30% disapprove. He is the fourth most popular governor in the list. Fourth most popular with 63%. I had to look this up, and I've been looking it up, and I got to tell you, the biggest issue with this list is that no scandal seems to stick to him. People are seeing the scandals as independent of his office. And I went and checked this just to see who was. And I get it. It's phenomenal the way that this works. So I did a deep dive on all the coverage of the scandals and those who reported on them. And it turns out that there have never been any reports that tied the governor's office to the scandal. Not even in a remedial way. right? So like his response to it hasn't even been scrutinized. It is like he is allowed so much latitude when these scandals hit, be it Pura, what's the name of the darn thing? Why am I forgetting the name of it right now? Oh, the public benefits charge, renewable energy, the EV mandate. Like the EV mandate should have been something that was tied to him even when he had to abandon it. Should have literally been a weight on his legs. Nothing. It was like the news media just said, oh, he's not doing it anymore. Move on. No reason as to why. The electric bus debacle, nothing. Darn thing set on fire. How long that thing burned? 8-9 days? Nothing. No association. And then I start reading the articles about, like, Betsy McCoy. There's an article today that comes out talking about her tax plan. The writer quotes all of these economists, and their response is without any real-world analysis. It's almost dismissing. And they don't even reference places where Betsy's plan works. That it is means tested. They don't. They just dismiss it out of hand. And the analysis that every one of these articles give seems very protective of Governor Lamont. And it's obvious. I mean, it's blatant in the writing. So when I see these reports of him having a 63% approval rating, I need to know. And it's online, by the way. That's another thing. They're always online. And I think that there's polling data out there that says otherwise. Why? Because another poll that came out, remember, this one says 63%. There's another poll out there that just has him at 55. Yeah. And that's, again, that's not even regionally close. That's a Mississippi gap. That's the whole point. So, I don't know. When we come back, I want to talk about the road to winning. Because I've laid it out today and I want to get to it. Well, let's get to the newsroom. John Silva is here. He's in the WTIC newsroom.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got partly cloudy skies and 33 degrees. We'll head for a high of about 35 today. We'll have the forecast details coming up. The House has passed a bill to end the partial government shutdown. More from correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The measure funds most of the government through September 30th while providing the Department of Homeland Security with short-term funding for 2 weeks while lawmakers negotiate potential changes to ICE operations, as Democrats demanded. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Tom Homan is in charge in Minnesota now, and he's already bringing about many of those changes. They are wanting to make sure that immigration enforcement is done safely and smartly and efficiently. And that's what you're going to get. It's going to be balanced. It's going to be a balanced approach.
Back here, lawmakers will be talking about making Connecticut more affordable as they gather for their news session at the Capitol tomorrow. Governor Lamont's proposing a $200 per person tax rebate. Republicans like State Representative Dave Rutigliano want to go farther with an expanded property tax credit.
We believe if there's money left over after we got our fiscal house in order, after we've paid down some of our debt, that should be returned to the taxpayer, and $200 is really just not enough.
Democratic Representative Farley Santos of Danbury won't rule out the Republican plan, but he says Lamont's idea is a good start.
People are feeling the pinch, and $200 may not seem like a lot, but it perhaps helps a family buy that week's grocery or pay that light bill, right? And we're all feeling it.
Electric bills will be looked at again. The State Bond Commission moved to reduce the public benefits charge last summer. Republicans would like to have the state budget cover the charge entirely. Governor Lamont does not support that plan. Kate Diaz, the president of the Connecticut Education Association, says she's interested in how lawmakers will help fill the many teacher vacancies going forward.
We are 100% looking at a shortage of educators in our pipeline, if you will. So we'd roughly need to produce somewhere around 1,700 educators annually in the state of Connecticut to fill all the vacancies. And we do not do that on an annual basis. We're closer to 1,000.
Search continues in Arizona for the mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home in the Tucson area on Saturday. A judge believes Nancy was abducted from her home.
A law enforcement source close to the investigation did tell CBS News that they did find blood inside the home. It is still unclear as to who that blood belongs to. Right now it is being tested. Tips overall coming from across the country, and the local Crime Stoppers organization here, 88 Crime, is offering a reward of up to $2,500 for any information that leads to an arrest.
Correspondent Andres Gutierrez. Firefighters in Fairfield are crediting working smoke detectors from preventing a tragedy in a Monday night house fire. Call went out around 11:30 p.m. to Figler Avenue. Officials say the 911 caller told them the smoke detector went off, allowing them to find the fire and evacuate. Fire was shooting from multiple windows by the time crews arrived. They were able to prevent the blaze from extending to the second-floor bedrooms. No civilian injuries were reported, but one firefighter did sustain a minor injury and was treated at the scene. The investigation is underway to determine a cause. State police in the town of Washington are looking for an erratic driver, they say, changes vehicles and license plates on a weekly basis. WTIC's Morgan Cunningham explains.
The activity's been noted every morning about 6:45 as troopers say the driver travels westbound on Route 109 through Washington to New Milford. The driver is known to operate recklessly, passing cars and school buses. Troopers attempted to stop the driver on Route 8 one time, but the driver was able to flee at speed so fast the pursuit was stopped. It's believed the operator works somewhere in New Milford. The driver was last seen operating a green Subaru Legacy with Florida plates 61931X. They've also been seen in a red Jeep with an unknown New York plate and plastic on the driver's side. Anyone with more information could reach out to State Police in Washington or Troop L. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
WTIC News, time 3:04, checking traffic. We got a crash in Waterbury to report. It's 84 West between exits 20 and 18. Looks like a tractor trailer's involved with that. Right lane blocked there. Down in New London on 95 South between exits 86 and 84, right lane is closed due to a two-vehicle crash. Road work continuing for about another 25 minutes or so in Windsor Locks, 91 South between exits 40 and 32, right lane with that. And road work 84 East in Farmington between exits 39 and 41. Right lane project there. And in Hartford on 91 on the northbound side between 32 and 33. Looks like the left lane will be closed there till about 3:30. Here's the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Partly cloudy the rest of this afternoon and remitting chilly, high 33. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, very cold overnight with a low of 6 above. Tomorrow, partly sunny, again chilly, high 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, low 8. Thursday, mostly sunny and chilly, high 31. Quite cold on Friday. Some sunshine to start, then increasing cloudiness, high just 26. We expect snow Friday night. Snow likely accumulating and coating to an inch, enough to make roads slippery. Low Friday night, 13. Then windy and bitterly cold this weekend. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, a high of just 17. Feeling colder with the wind. Sunday, a good deal of sunshine, a high temperature 15, and again, the wind will make it feel even colder. Not quite as cold, not quite as windy on Monday, a good deal of sunshine. Monday's high reaching 22 degrees, and temperatures will moderate slightly as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 374, NASDAQ down 490, S&P is down 89. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Winning doesn't start on game day. It starts with preparation, trust, and the right team. Just ask UConn's Braylon Mullins.
I trust the team at BPS Lawyers, just like I trust my teammates on game day.
At BPS Lawyers, we prepare like champions, fighting for you in personal injury, family law, and more.
I'm Nick Payne-Deras. At BPS Lawyers, we're one full-service firm. All your legal needs, always.
BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Today, everyone turns to the internet to search for things, but the number one thing you can never find online is great customer service. Well, your search is over with a visit to Modern Plumbing. Whether you're building or remodeling, you're going to have questions. So why not shop where you can get the knowledge you've been craving? Great pricing, great selections, and most importantly, great customer service. Modern Plumbing, Showroom and Parts Counter on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
I'm looking at my screen here. It looks weird. It's like something weird is going on the screen. Anyway, I'll figure it out. It's something on here that's completely baffling the crap out of me. Anyway, we'll work on it. So in having my conversations with the Republican candidates, be it Aaron Stewart or Ryan Fozzie or Betsy McCoy, the one thing that they are confident in is the fact that they can win this state. And a lot of them are saying they wouldn't be in this if they didn't think Ned Lamont could be beaten. And I know that for a fact. He can be beaten. There are a lot of elements in order to do that, but he can be beaten. And I think that each of them have looked at strategy in so many different ways as you would expect them to. Some of them are looking the same way, but I look at something else, and that is patterns. I pay very close attention to patterns, especially the person that I'm trying to beat. I pay very close attention to them. Art of War stuff. You know, I know you guys, I never read this stuff. But you have to know your opponent. It just is. I don't even think you need the Art of War of that. I think that's a basic thing in order for you to win. You can train all day and make your game good to go, but the only way you adapt is adapting by what your enemy or your adversary is going to do next. Understanding them, what each movement means, what the tell is. And with Ned Lamont, it's money. It's money. You don't spend more and more money on a campaign that can't lose. But you can't stop the money. The money is going to be spent. And he's got the means to do so, if it matters that much to him. But there are other ways to beat Ned Lamont. And I'm not going to give up the goods on this, but I'll start here. I was having a conversation with someone today, and they gave me a little bit of information that may need to be looked upon. And when they were talking to me about it, they were kind of dismissive of it. But they still noticed it. And I started looking at old tape. I kept going through it, and I just went, that's obviously happening. So maybe later on, as we get as we get closer and closer, I'll start talking about this conversation that I had with someone. I'll never reveal who it is, but I'll start telling people what I saw. If you see me out there and, we're engaging, maybe I'll be in between rounds, come up to me and ask me, hey, what was that person talking about? What do you, I'll tell you. I won't do it on the air yet. I don't want to give up the goods. I'll share it with some people, but if you see me out in the street roaming about, getting a bagel, taking the wife out for ice cream or dinner, say, hey, Reese, you were talking about that Ned thing. What happened? I'll tell you. But it's something that people are going to have to start paying attention to real soon. Here's some of the things that I know has to be done in order for either of these candidates, from Betsy to Aaron to Ryan, in order to win. Look at me on a first-name basis with these guys. These were the ones that sort of came out to me. This is an entire playbook. But these are a few that really, really stood out to me. Because these are ways that I would fight and I would win. And unaffiliated is a very, very good place to start. But according to this map, it says that you have to win unaffiliated by 15 to 20 points. Now, that's good. You can do that. It is easy to do, if you ask me. The question is where you get that vote from. And there are a lot of unaffiliated in places like, I don't know, not Hartford, probably not so much Hartford. I would say unaffiliated. If I have to pick a town, goodness gracious. Now I'm like, where would I find? Okay, Farmington? Maybe. Avon? Maybe. Stonington? Maybe. I think that's, I mean, there are plenty of other places that you can find a lot of unaffiliated. But I would say it wouldn't be out west. Definitely wouldn't be out east. Or southeast, for that matter. It wouldn't be out there. It's like somewhere near here, riding around Hartford. Maybe Bristol. Maybe. If you could think of a few, let me know. But unaffiliated is a key moment. I'd say, they say 10 or 15. I think you go full 20. I say you go 20 and above because I think you can. But the way that you do that is not just the unaffiliated. You've also got to have a lot of them sit out. That's key. Litchfield, thank you. Very good point. Yeah, good place. That's Litchfield County is perfect, Joseph. Thank you for that. They say the unaffiliated are moderate messaging, no culture war overkill, focus on fiscal conservatism, cut spending, no new taxes, school choice nods. Stewart, as a suburban mom, has appeal in that area. Fazio's youth could click here. And they're saying it's doable with the right candidate, as long as they stay on the moderate messaging. Fiscal stuff, no culture war stuff. And that's true. The unaffiliateds don't really care for a lot of the culture war stuff. You don't have to have a conversation about transgender kids with them. You know. Another one that I really, really liked on this list was depress Dem turnout in cities. Now, this is very true that Bridgeport, New Haven. Did you see the numbers in the New Haven election, by the way? Did you see what those numbers were? That's a very important thing. Those numbers were infinitesimal. By any stretch of the imagination, garbage numbers. But statewide, those people are going to stay home. So, and I had this conversation. I'm trying to remember who I had this conversation with. A young woman by the name of Wendy. She was at the Grassroots East event. And she and I were talking about this. And I said, you know, there are a lot of people in the Democrat Party in urban areas who have no interest in voting this November. None. And the ground game has got to be telling those folks or making sure those folks don't come out to vote. As much as Democrats are going to need them, those folks have to be completely disenchanted by the idea of voting for Lamont a third time, or even a first time if they've never voted before. Democrats, of course, are going to do everything they can and going to say, you know, the Republicans this and the Republicans that. That's fine. Outside of driving folks to the ballots or to the polling places, the enthusiasm has to be completely destroyed. In essence, you have to understand that people in Hartford or people in New Haven are not going to vote for a Republican. They're not. But you have to make them completely disenchanted with voting for a Democrat. That you have to turn them off so much by the candidate that's there that they don't go. Nope, not interested. Like, it's getting to the point where you've got to, I mean, Democrats not like they wouldn't, but, you know, they'd have to buy them a meal in order to go. Craig says unaffiliated top towns are East Windsor with 48.1%, Vernon with 46.2%. That's a considerable amount. Enfield, yes. East Hartford. Really, East Hartford? I'm not going to lie. That blew me away. I was thinking East Hartford, but I was not going to touch them. I was like, I don't think East Hartford is. East Hartford? 43.9? That's a big number in East Hartford. Manchester makes sense. In fact, Manchester makes more sense than East Hartford. That is incredible. Where'd you get that number from, Craig? Please put that up. Hello, Calla. Calla says hello to Reese. Hello, my dear. She's so adorable. She's so absolutely adorable. She met me the other day, and she was so excited. Probably one of the best moments I ever had with somebody meeting me. Calla, you're fantastic. That's an incredible number in East Hartford. But you know what? Knowing that, thank you, Craig, for that info. That's a good point. I mean, it's a good sign because that's an area that needs to be hit up. Yeah, thank you, Lori. Lori's saying the things. It used to be a big Democrat city in East Hartford. Exactly. That's why it's hard to believe there's so many unaffiliated there now. But then again, they could be disenchanted by the whole left, right, red, blue, process. So that does make sense. But again, thank you for that. Okay. Oh, it's Secretary of State's office. Okay, thank you, Craig. Okay. Of course, the obvious is the master ground game. There must be troops on the ground, and they have got to be everywhere. And I asked Erin about that when she was here, if you remember. I'm like, do you have a ground game? She says yes, and it's still developing. But that game has got to be really on the ground. It's got to be hundreds, if not thousands of people for this. And they've got to be volunteer after volunteer after volunteer on that ground game. This one, not so much. I didn't agree with this. National tailwinds. Trump honeymoon backlash. They say midterms often punish the president's party. But 2026, an off year with Trump in the White House. If economy booms, it helps the GOP. If there's chaos, it hurts, they say. That's partially true. And here's why. And I want you to look at this from this perspective. Ned Lamont does not have an economic track record to run on at all. He is running an entitlement campaign. He's begun it already. Everything he has run on is about giving people taxpayer money. It's free giveaways. He's turned into Santa Claus months after Christmas. Every press release is more money he's giving to people. He began his campaign the same way. Is that hard to push back on? No, absolutely not. Certainly you won't win over the people who are benefiting from it. However, you can use it. Because you've got to say, look, take the money. But Lamont's clearly buying your vote here. Because you have to ask yourself how often or how soon, I should say, how soon is the well going to run dry? More and more people are going to end up leaving the state because Lamont can't make it viable for them to stay. More and more people will end up on the dole. More and more people will end up on entitlements. And as more people leave, the entitlements will shrink. Now, imagine a governor who is going to make prosperity the key. That makes sure that instead of waiting for somebody to send you a check every month, someone actually gets you a job that completely dwarfs what the state could possibly afford to give you. And a meaningful job at that, where corporations are going to come in, where people are going to train you. That's the way that you're going to have to sort of combat that. And there's this idea, and I agree with it to some extent. There is an idea that there are people who live in a state who would rather be on the dole than ever work for their keep. That is absolutely true. I'm not dismissing that. However, the working poor in the state, and there are plenty, really do want to see their wages grow. There are more people in that space who do not want to end up on welfare than there are people who are willing to stay in that place. Now, there are, cretins, you know who they are, but they're not that, they're few and far between, believe me. The only people who are, let's be straight, the people who are sucking on the teat of government at ridiculous rates are illegals. We know that because we've seen the budget. We've seen the numbers. We've seen the amount of money that Lamont is willing to spend, be it on Medicaid, be it on food stamps, whatever the case may be. That's what he's throwing all of his money at. And that's what's going to happen more and more. The sanctuary status will pay, because that's never going to be the thing that Lamont runs on. He cannot make that a campaign ad in the state of Connecticut. He can't run an ad that says, Lamont keeping illegals in Connecticut. He can't run on that. So right now I've seen most of these ads where he's just standing around talking to people. And it's actually kind of pathetic. It's like the worst 1980s style political ad today. He's just standing around and he's seen talking to people. There's no hard hat. There's no work. It's nothing. So I don't think he's got a real positive message in that regard for people who are on entitlements and the amount of people or the people who are getting those entitlements. So I'm not concerned about that. All blue-collar towns east of the river from Hartford north of Tobacco Road. That's a good point. So anyway, we'll like I said, we've got plenty of time to do a lot of these things that are on here. Voter ID is going to be very, very key. If that changes in Washington, which we're waiting for that, the Trust Act, we're hoping that that's going to pass. Do we have any updates on that? In fact, I haven't even looked that up today. I know there's supposed to be a vote on that. We'll look and see what that looks like. So absentee ballots, that's going to be another issue here. And also, most importantly, that the ad campaign, what ads run online or on television are going to be key. And let me say this. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm just going to say it. Okay? When we're telling personal stories on the campaign trail, please avoid telling a story about a woman crying. There's a reason why it always fails. I heard that recently, and I wish the person would eliminate it from the speech. I'm sure that the person was very well-meaning when they put that in the speech. Take it out. It does not work anymore. What works is that you've got to be personal with the person who is voting for you. And you cannot be as general as many politicians are. You have to talk about, meet people where they're at and know that in every speech. And try to learn variations of the same speech. That's the most important thing I can tell you. All right? I'm sorry I had to say that because it had been bothering me for a couple of days. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, Hartford temperature 32 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We've seen the clouds take over, and looks like we're going to have, I'll call it a mix of clouds and sun for this Tuesday afternoon. Temps will stay in the 30s. We'll get the full forecast coming up from the WTIC Weather Center. The brother of Renee Good, the woman shot to death by ICE agents in Minneapolis last month, sparking nationwide protests, is testifying before Congress. Luke Ganger says he's still trying to explain to his 4-year-old daughter why her aunt isn't coming home. Good was shot when agents say she wouldn't get out of her vehicle and drove toward an ICE officer. Search continues for the missing mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie was last seen on Saturday near her Tucson, Arizona area home. Blood was found at the home, according to authorities, who have not said whose blood it is. One firefighter sustained minor injuries battling a house fire in Fairfield last night. The blaze broke out on Figler Street. No civilian injuries. Officials are crediting working smoke detectors with preventing a tragedy. Meantime, a fire in Manchester is under investigation. Firefighters there were kept busy. They were called to a home on Briarwood Drive this morning. No word yet on a cause. The House has passed a funding measure by the slimmest of margins, 3 votes. That effectively ends the partial government shutdown, and the measure now on its way to President Trump's desk for his signature. And police in New Haven are investigating a Monday night shooting. They say a woman was found shot around 1 a.m. on Howard Avenue. Injuries believed to be non-life-threatening. WTIC News time is 3:32. Here's the forecast.
Patchy clouds for the remainder of this afternoon, high 33. Some cloudiness tonight, very cold with a low of 6. Partly sunny tomorrow, high again 33. A clear, very cold tomorrow night with a low of 8. Thursday, a good deal of sunshine, but cold, high 31. Very cold on Friday. Some sunshine followed by increasing cloudiness, high 26. Some snow is likely Friday night, and snow can accumulate a coating to an inch. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
In Waterbury, we still have that tractor-trailer crash working 84 westbound between exits 20 and 18 in the right lane. New problem down in Groton. 2-vehicle crash on 95 southbound between 86 and 84 that has the left lane blocked. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lenseek.
OpenAI is preparing to launch its first AI-based device. Axios reports that the device is being designed by former noted Apple designer Johnny Ive, whom OpenAI CEO Sam Altman poached away from Apple last year. Altman and Ive gave a preview of the device to OpenAI employees, saying the device will be fully aware of a user's surroundings and be capable of being placed in a person's pocket. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up.
Cash flow, tariffs, payroll, taxes, every day starts with a full plate.
So you got ahead of it.
Had to. That's why I checked out Lenseek.
How was the process?
It was simple. Lenseek's AI platform showed me real funding options. Fast, clear, and no games.
Any upfront costs?
None. Zero out of pocket. No prepayment penalties either. Up to $5 million. With funding in as fast as 24 hours.
Start ready, stay ready. Lenseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Got a tree causing big trouble in a tiny space? Don't risk it. Call the experts who specialize in the impossible jobs. At Tree Wise Guys of Connecticut, we handle the heavy lifting so you don't have to. From precision limb cutting and stump grinding to full land cleaning and emergency storm damage cleanup. No job is too big and no space is too tight. When it matters most, trust the guys who know trees. Trust Tree Wise Guys of Connecticut. Visit TreeWiseGuysCT.com today to get a free quote on your next project. That's TreeWiseGuysCT.com.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Irby Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
As the owner, coach, and quarterback of your small business, you call the shots. From inventory to payroll and more. Now it's time to bring in Lenseek, your funding MVP. No delay of game here. Get up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours for business lines of credit or term loans. Let Lenseek's AI marketplace assist you in making the winning play and score that touchdown. Apply at lenseek.com, LENDSEEK.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Never, ever doubt me. That's something that I remember Rush saying all the time. And I would love it when he would say, never doubt me. Never doubt me. I got guff for that a couple of months back. Somebody who said that about me. Never said that I wasn't right, but never doubt me. I tried to say this. I got a text message not too long ago. Somebody I haven't heard from in a while was talking about what I just said was a bunch of malarkey. There's no way to beat Governor Lamont. I have to add the person who wrote it, I consider the source. They haven't been politically right, I don't think, in a generation. But let me, instead of just saying that I know I'm right, just for saying, well, I know I'm right. No, let me just try. This is an interesting point because as you heard, Craig in the car just wrote out a list for me of unaffiliated top towns. Let me read them again. This is very important because what I'm about to read to you in my quick research after he said it, I was like, wow, that's crazy in a place like East Hartford. Let me read the list again. East Windsor, 48.1%, Vernon, 46.2%, Enfield, 44.4%, East Hartford, 43.9%, Manchester, 42.7%. That's the amount of unaffiliated voters per town. These are the top towns. Then this. The primary source of growth of unaffiliated voters come from former Democrats. In 100 towns in Connecticut, every one of them, okay, saw a decrease in Democrat voters that became unaffiliated. In other words, Democrat voters became more unaffiliated than Republicans did. In fact, Republicans gained in party switching, while Democrats declined. This says that registered Democrats have been dropping steadily, with their share of total votes falling by nearly 2 percentage points since 2020. Meanwhile, Republicans have actually gained ground, up about 0.7 points over the same period, with notable increases in cities like Hartford and New Haven. And unaffiliated voters peaked at around 1 point. Democratic registrations declined in nearly every town from 2024 to 2025, sometimes by over 1% in a single year. Republicans saw bumps in over 100 towns, including urban areas. That's a very, very important statistic, don't you think? So winning unaffiliated by 20 points is doable. You can't abandon a party. I'm just saying, why would you abandon the Democrat Party if it wasn't because the Democrat Party had become so radical you couldn't identify as them? You may hold some of the tenets of the Democrat Party, but I would imagine there's a degree of fatigue that would say, I can't do it. I just can't. And I know that they can't, because let me see if I can find this. I think I can. I want to find the audio that supports something here, because I think it was Betsy who said this about, let me see if I make sure that I got the audio here. It was a Bloomberg interview. Yeah, here it is. I think this is it. This is Bloomberg, Lamont doing a Bloomberg interview, talking about the party getting smaller.
Governor, it seems like for both parties, perhaps, the extreme right, the extreme left seems to be driving the politics for each of those parties. Is there even a center left for either party or both parties?
It's getting smaller. Because I'm there, and you're right. I think after Donald Trump's election, the Republicans are a lot less likely to want to talk to me. I always had a big table and an open door, and a lot of people looked at me and said, "God, it looks a little like a Republican." And the Democrats are sort of really fighting Trump every day, and if you don't go after him on a daily basis, you're sort of being weak in terms of your principles. So you're right. The middle's getting very small, and that's not a good thing for America.
Yeah, the middle's getting very small, he says. But what did Lamont do in response to that? As Betsy McCoy pointed out, he became more left. For political survival's case, he had to. Which is why he said something like this after the election of Zoran Mamdani.
I think he is a big deal. I think he's transformative. I love what he's doing on a universal pre-K for everybody. Same thing that we're doing right here. Talking about free bus service for folks. We did that all during COVID as well.
You were supportive of Andrew Cuomo. Are you now supportive of Zoran Mamdani in New York?
I just said that I had worked with Andrew Cuomo when he was governor, so I can work with whoever the next mayor is. And that's Mamdani. Absolutely. I look forward to working with him. The first call he's going to get from us. Look, New York City is the financial capital of the world. And Stamford, Connecticut, and Southern Connecticut are a big piece of that ecosystem. We have to work together closely.
So, what do you expect from him? That's all. What do you expect? He's going to become more and more progressive. He doesn't have a choice. Aaron says he's using a lot of words to say nothing. That's Ned for you, my friend. That's Ned for you. Again, but that's... What else is he going to do? I thought that Josh Elliott was going to be formidable, all things considered. Like, I thought he would run a Mamdani campaign, which, by the way, is almost non-existent. Where is Josh? Josh, where you been? Holla at your boy. Come on by the show. But he's been absolutely non-existent. But I thought that was going to be the thing. Josh Elliott was going to be the thing that was going to push Lamont to the far left. Turns out it took nothing. It took nothing for the guy to become far left. That's why he's here. The housing bill, we wouldn't be there if the guy wasn't desperate. And so, that's where we are. I was under the impression that Trump lost Connecticut by 150,000 or so votes. That's not much for a blue state. It isn't. Aaron also writes that Ned Lamont is very defeatable. But you can always count on Republicans in Connecticut, in particular, to really excel at pulling defeat from the jaws of victory. Yes, that's been said a lot. Those days are over, Aaron, I promise you. Those days are over. Let me take one before I go to break. Ken is in Meriden. How are we doing, Ken?
I'm doing good, Reese. How you doing?
Pretty good, sir. What do you got?
The only issue I have with the upcoming election is, well, I have more than one issue.
Sure.
Is, we have the early voting now.
Yeah.
And if you recall, I don't know if it's changed, but I remember Lamont's first go-round, they kept the polls open past 8 o'clock, and they allowed out-of-state college students to vote. And the reason they said, they're living in Connecticut. Well, they may be living in Connecticut, but it's not their home of record.
That's right. Which is why this lawsuit by the Department of Justice to get the voter rolls are so important before this election.
And they haven't turned them over yet.
No, but they're going to be forced to, without a doubt. They can fight it all day. It's going to get done. That information is getting to the federal government, whether they like it or not. And Lamont does. William Tong doesn't have a leg to stand on. Neither does the Secretary of State.
We need to get that stuff turned over because during I'm not sure. I don't remember if it was 24 or if it was Lamont's last one. Out of the 169 cities and towns, 164 of them voted red.
Yeah. A lot of people, again, and we're talking about
Connecticut, a blue state.
Exactly my point. And as I said, look, there were two very deciding things for me. 174,000 votes. That was the separation between he and Stefanowski. That's the most important for me. That's the most important number to pay attention to. Second most important number to consider is the fact, again, we are being told by everybody. By the way, as I started this conversation out, we're talking about the fourth most popular governor in the country with a 63% approval rating, and the guy is projected to spend another $5 million more than he spent in the last election, which was $25 million. They're expecting him. He's projected to spend $30 million on the next election, and he doesn't even know who his opponent is.
Yeah. That's another thing that needs to change, in my opinion. Federal and state, they need to put a cap on spending.
Yeah. Agreed. Because this guy's gone up from 18 to 25, now projected at 30.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, buddy. I do have to take a break, but I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, Reese. Take care.
You too, man. Let's take that break. We'll be back. More news, more views, and then we've got our guest, Brad, why am I forgetting his name? Brad Brandon. That's his name. Brad Brandon is joining us from the Washington Times and the Daily Wire to talk about what's going on in northern Nigeria. So stick around for that. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Northeast Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you. It can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Northeast Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Brian Shackman here for QC Kinetics. Listen, I have a number for you, 40,000. Let that number sink in for a second, 40,000. That's basically a small city, and it's also the number of people choosing pain relief without surgery through QC Kinetics. It's an unbelievable number of lives that have been transformed by QC Kinetics. It's patients who thought they were out of options and surgery was the only answer, now are moving better, hurting less, and getting their lives back together thanks to QC Kinetics. And here's the kicker. Your first consultation with them is totally free. You go in there and you find out if it's right for you. They're in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury, so the chances are it's close to you as well. You have zero to lose. It's about long-lasting pain relief without surgery, without drugs, and without downtime. And the sooner you get started, the better it is for your long-term health. Give them a call. And again, it's a new number here, 860-850-2682. Again, it's 860-850-2682 for QC Kinetics. Make your appointment for that first consultation, which is totally free. 860-850-2682. Call QC Kinetics today.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Making sense of it all and having fun. That's how we would sum up our show. Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. It's what happens when you take a Gen Xer, a millennial, and a baby boomer and give them a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings a unique perspective to the news of the day, closing the generation gap in a way no other talk show can. Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknights 6 until 9 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. Brad is in the building. We'll get to him in due course. We're going to spend an hour with him talking to everything that's going on in northern Nigeria and all of that genocide. And I don't know. It's really, really a harrowing story, as you all have covered in the news. And we've talked about it a little bit here. But I brought in an expert, somebody who's there. What? How often are you there, Brad?
There about half the year at least.
What is it, about half the year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, about half the year.
Wow. So much to get into, but I promise there's a lot. There's so much to get into, and of course, so many ways that people can help and play a role in that. I promise we will get to all of that. We're going to spend so much time on it, so I'm so thankful that you could be here in such short notice, because we just had church Sunday.
I'm glad to be here.
My pleasure. But we'll get Brad here in a second. Anyway, I want to read a couple of comments here about that. Just say, that's why I went from being an independent to a Republican. Lori Maz says, she goes, FYI, I don't know about the rest of the state, but in my town, unaffiliated voters cannot work the polls. Really? You have to explain that to me, Joseph. I don't know why that would be. Maybe there's an understanding I don't have here with that one. Lori also brought up the SAVE Act is necessary. Bridgeport is the home of voter fraud. SEIU buses showed up with voters in Bridgeport sending out unrequested absentee ballots. Lots of opportunities for corruption. I knew that was going to be the fact from the get-go. I was trying to explain to people that, how many times in your life when you receive the mail and you get mail from somebody who's never lived in your home, but it's got your address on it. Like, how many times have you... It's like, you don't want voting to end up in the hands of the only business that's involved in government that's supposed to turn a profit but still loses $1 billion every year. These are the people I do not want in charge of voting. And mail-in was just, I knew it was going to be a debacle from the get-go. So that's where we are with that. Coming up on on traffic, weather, and then news. So stand by. We've got Brad here. We'll talk to him. We're not going to take any phone calls until after I am done. So if there's any question that you have, you'll have to do it in the chat room. How do you do that? Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can go to YouTube or you can go to X if you have a question to give Brad about what's going on in Nigeria or how you can help. We will get to him, get to that question in due course. So stand by for that and much, much more. And also, if you want to watch my interview with Brad, you can also do that by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com during the program. So stand by for that. I think that's about it. Brad, did you come by yourself?
I did.
You didn't? Was that?
Nope.
Was
I
that
don't have an entourage.
You don't have an entourage?
No.
Well, the young lady who was with you, I thought that was.
Oh, that was my wife.
Shit,
Yes,
that is your
yes,
wife.
That is my wife.
Okay, can I just tell
That's
you
not my
something
daughter.
real quick before we go to break? No, well, your daughter. That's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was that she is very efficient. She almost, her demeanor was almost like she was your assistant. I couldn't tell if she was your wife or not.
She often plays that role.
Oh, does she? Okay,
Yes.
cool. She plays it well because I could.
does.
You guys seem like you work together,
Oh, yeah.
but I didn't know that it was, working together.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Long time.
That's okay. So I thought you would bring your wife. I'm just wondering. Anyway, let's take our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, Hartford looks pretty good overall. If you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, look for slow traffic approaching 33 Jennings Road. Northbound side of 91 looks good. Cromwell up into Windsor Locks. Westbound 84, just a little slow. Bulkley Bridge out to exit 47. Sigourney 84 eastbound is tight from 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 eastbound, no issues. Glastonbury and East Hartford. A little slow, 291 eastbound by the Bissell Bridge. 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park to the Oregoni Bridge in Middletown. Quiet Waterbury. Looks like a crash now. Northbound Parkway in the West Rock Tunnel, so delays are approaching exit 46 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy the rest of this afternoon and remitting. Chilly, high 33. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Very cold overnight with a low of 6 above. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Again, chilly, high 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, low 8. Thursday, mostly sunny and chilly, high 31. Quite cold on Friday. Some sunshine to start, then increasing cloudiness, high just 26. We expect snow Friday night. Snow likely accumulating and coating to an inch. Enough to make roads slippery. Low Friday night, 13. Then windy and bitterly cold this weekend. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, a high of just 17. Feeling colder with the wind. Sunday, a good deal of sunshine, a high temperature 15. And again, the wind will make it feel even colder. Not quite as cold, not quite as windy on Monday. A good deal of sunshine. Monday's high reaching 22 degrees. And temperatures will moderate slightly as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
4 o'clock, 34 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Lawmakers will be talking about making Connecticut more affordable as they gather for their session at the Capitol on Wednesday. Governor Lamont's proposing a $200 per person tax rebate. Republicans like State Representative Dave Rutigliano want to go farther with an expanded property tax credit.
We believe if there's money left over after we got our fiscal house in order, after we've paid down some of our debt, that should be returned to the taxpayer, and $200 is really just not enough.
Democratic Representative Farley Santos of Danbury won't rule out the Republican plan, but he says Lamont's idea is a good start.
People are feeling the pinch, and $200 may not seem like a lot, but it perhaps helps a family buy that week's grocery or pay that light bill, right? And we're all feeling it.
Now, electric bills will be looked at once again. State Bond Commission moved to reduce the public benefits charge last summer. Republicans would like to have the state budget cover that charge entirely. That's not something that Governor Lamont supports. The state's largest teachers union has several areas it hopes lawmakers will address during the session. Among them, teacher protections. Kate Diaz is CEA president.
Protection in their termination proceedings, protection for their own safety with respect to workers' compensation, as well as protecting our privacy in terms of our home addresses and phone numbers, which I think are just too accessible based on the current writings of the FOI law.
Diaz also says increasing teacher roles and improving the way schools are funded will be CEI priorities going forward. State Controller Sean Scanlon is offering an economic outlook for 2026 as the legislature begins work on budget revisions. He calls it a tale of two stories.
One of a cooling labor market and another one of some really, really exciting news when it came to our GDP growth that we got about a week or so ago that built off of previous GDP growth and strength that we have seen before as a state.
State surplus now at $85.9 million, down $50.4 million due to what Scanlon says is a downward projection of the consensus revenue report. He says the rainy day fund is at its statutory cap, but Scanlon also says they're watching the state's job market as unemployment has ticked up to 4.2%. The brother of Renee Good, the woman shot to death by ICE agents in Minneapolis last month, sparking nationwide protests, testified before Congress today. Luke Anger said he's still trying to explain to his 4-year-old daughter why her aunt isn't coming home.
The prayers and words of support have truly brought us comfort, and it is meaningful that these sentiments have come from people of all colors, faiths, and ideals. That is a perfect reflection of Renee.
Good was shot when agents say she wouldn't get out of her vehicle and drove toward an ICE officer. Authorities continue their search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Police believe she was taken from her Arizona home over the weekend against her will. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos.
I've heard from leadership from all sorts of agencies, not just at the federal level, but across the state. Every one of them saying, Sheriff, you need anything, we're here.
He says they will hold their next press briefing when something major breaks in the case. Guthrie has mobility issues and was taken from home without medication that she is supposed to take daily. Hartford Yard Goats will have a new manager for the 2026 season. The team's announcing the hiring of former New York Mets catcher Robinson Cancel. The 49-year-old from Puerto Rico has spent the last 3 seasons managing at Class A Spokane. His team won a Northwest League championship in 2024. Cancel was originally drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers in 1994, played parts of 4 seasons with the Brewers, the Mets, and the Houston Astros. It'll be Cancel's 10th season in the Rockies organization. He takes over for Bobby Meacham, the former Yankees infielder, who managed the Goats the last 2 seasons. Cancel will be formally introduced at a 2 p.m. news conference Wednesday at Duncan Park. On Wall Street, the Dow down 166 points, NASDAQ down 336, and the S&P down 58. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
The Urban League of Greater Hartford is hosting our 11th annual Black History Celebration, a legacy reveal, showcasing the achievements and contributions of African American, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Latino cultures in the capital region. Join us Thursday, February 19th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Mark Twain House and Museum located at 351 Farmington Avenue in Hartford. For the festivities or be part of the celebration by becoming an exhibitor, vendor, sponsor, or volunteer, call 860-578-4017 or email events at ulgh.org to learn more.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, man. Oh, if you only knew just the conversations we're having in the background. Oh, man. Brad Brandon is here. We're going to talk to him in a few minutes. In fact, I might as well just put you on camera here because I got you so everybody can see you. we're just talking about D.C. because I lived in Northern Virginia, worked for D.C. I worked back and forth in D.C. and Hyattsville. Is it Maryland? Yeah, Maryland. I worked like going straight through. Sorry, microphone's off.
Yeah.
Working straight through that town, and it's funny because you were just saying this. Like, what did you call it? You called
it's 15 square miles surrounded by reality.
Yeah,
that's what Washington D.C. is. And the longer you spend inside of that, the more you lose touch with reality.
And it's you were just talking about how you can go a block away from the Capitol and then see a homeless person. Imagine my naivete as a 12-year-old thinking I'm going to Emerald City in a bus from Queens. Like, I know poverty.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we're going to Washington, D.C. I get to see Emerald City. We couldn't have been 2 blocks away, and there was a homeless Jamaican.
Right,
and I go, where the hell am I, and why is he here? I'm like, that guy's in my neighborhood. What's he doing in Emerald City? And that's what I learned, like, D.C. Wow. I mean, I'm sure it's much different now. I mean, Donald Trump is bragging about how all the crime has gone down in there, but from what you and I know, having been there.
It's changed, but I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and right across the street from my hotel, which was a block from the Capitol, there's a homeless camp right across the street.
Damn.
So it hasn't changed that much, but it's changed.
I'm hoping that it gets a little better, but we're not here to talk about that. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We got traffic and weather coming up in a minute, but we're going to talk about everything that's going on with Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, things that you have seen firsthand. And I wanted this audience to hear from you a firsthand account of what we're hearing on places like CNN or Fox News or even right here on WTIC. And I appreciate you coming in to sort of let us know.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's going on there. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit about your history because you're in the news. You're a writer and all that good stuff. So stand by for that. Brad Brandon is here, writer for Daily Wire, Washington Times, the Christian Post, the Nanook Gazette, and everything else.
Everything else, just about.
Everything else is here. Let's get a check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the eastbound side of 84, delays 44 Prospect Oakland to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 is running slow, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. Southbound 91 delays getting by 33 Jennings Road. If you are traveling on 291, 384, that looks good too. Eastbound's okay into Glastonbury. 9 northbound slowing, approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Slight slowdown, 84 westbound at the Mixmaster. Look for some slow traffic now northbound on the Parkway. An accident right near the West Rock Tunnel, so you've got delays approaching 46 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly sunny the rest of today, high of 33, then partly cloudy this evening, mostly cloudy for the overnight. Very cold, a low of 6 above, and tomorrow partly sunny. A high once again at 33. Clear, very cold weather tomorrow night, a low of 8. Will stay chilly on Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 31. It is currently 31 at Cheshire, down 32 degrees in Manchester, and 33 at Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. It's winter, and we need to keep our crews busy, so ask us about our winter specials. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Looking to retire with confidence? Get the answers you need. Tune in to Wall Street Sweeper with Russ Hackman. Sunday mornings at 9:30 on NewsTalk WTIC AM. Strategies, insights, and smart retirement talk. Don't miss it.
Odyssey Hartford celebrates Black History Month by honoring icons like Alex Haley. Haley spent years tracing his lineage back to a single African man, Kunta Kinte. This journey inspired both his epic book and the landmark television miniseries Roots, earning him a Pulitzer Prize and a National Book Award. Today, Haley is credited with sparking a nationwide interest in genealogy among African Americans. Odyssey Hartford, celebrating Black artists, athletes, and trailblazers all month long. Find more on the Odyssey app.
Brought to you with pride by Goodwin University.
When it comes to painting your home, do not do it yourself. Call the pros at CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business independently owned and operated, and they provide worry-free, excellent work. They are so clean, and it's all at the right price. I mean, with over 70,000 five-star reviews, the proof is in their painting. And it's so easy to schedule your free estimate for painting the outside or inside of your home or business. Just go online to CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose Certa. CertaPro Painters.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back and we are here. Brandon, you have the most alliterative name that I get confused by.
I know. I apologize for that.
You've been a writer. Well, you're a writer at the Washington Times, the Daily Wire, and, of course, the Christian Post.
Yeah, New York Post.
New York Post, that's right.
Everything in between.
And how long have you been a writer?
Well, I've been doing this for about 3 years.
Really? Only?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I haven't been a writer that long. Not a published writer, anyway.
Well, nonetheless, I mean, you're writing in some very well-known publications, so...
they picked me up. I guess they like what I do.
Yeah, why not, right? Godspeed. So you have been involved in, of course, everything that's been happening in Nigeria, Christian, just slaughter.
We're right in the thick of it all.
Yeah, and... This hasn't happened overnight. Mm-mm. This is a process that has been going on for a considerable amount of time that has never really gotten the attention of the international press or even here in the States.
Nope. Not until the last 8 months.
Yeah, last 8 months because it has been a fever pitch, if you will, of slaughter.
Yep.
How long has this been going on, and how long have you been covering it?
It's been going on for about 15 years, and we've been working in Nigeria for about 10 of that.
Okay.
The whole time the genocide's been happening, the targeted persecution of Christians in northern Nigeria has been going on. We've been screaming from the mountaintops about this issue, and for the most part, it's been ignored. I used to travel around and speak at churches and conferences, and I'd ask people, this is 8 years ago, how many know what's happening in Nigeria? No hands would go up. I was just speaking at a church the other Sunday and asked the congregation how many know what's going on in Nigeria. Every hand went up.
Yeah.
So whatever we're doing is working as of late. But yeah, you're right. For the most part, it's been ignored for the last decade or longer.
Is it now in Nigeria, as far as the Christian population is concerned, has a lot of it grown, and this is only for me that I'm asking, has this grown through mission work or has Nigeria always been part of it, a large Christian group?
I mean, some of the first missionaries go back to, I would say, 250 years.
Wow.
When the Dutch and England sent missionaries there. They worked their way from the shore up. So they reach the Yoruba and Igbo tribes that are closer to the shore. So most of the Yoruba and Igbo tribes are Christianized today, or Christian. Beyond that, when you get into northern Nigeria, they sort of gave up on northern Nigeria. We could discuss the issues why, but they ran into some opposition among the Fulani and Hausa people there. They weren't Muslims at that time.
Okay.
So then after that vacuum left it open for the Muslims to come down from the north, and they converted the north. So what you have right now is southern Nigeria being predominantly Christian, about 80-85%, and then northern Nigeria being about 90-95% Muslim.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where you get the divide.
Now, even if there is a divide, where does the provocation come? I mean, I'm assuming it comes from the Muslim north, but why? Is there a reason was they don't want Christianity spread? Is it an infidel thing? Sort of the back and forth between, Muslim faith versus Christian faith. And this is just the tactics that this Muslim faction is using against Christians because they are more of a, in their view, a docile group.
Yeah, it's a combination of things.
Okay.
So I think, first of all, there's an ideological problem among radical Muslims. So you have groups like ISWA, which is the Islamic State of West Africa. It's the ISIS of West Africa.
Okay.
And then you have a group called Boko Haram.
Very familiar.
Right. And then you have some other groups called Lakurawa and some other fractionalized groups off of those. Those are all ideologically based.
Yeah, and very terroristic in sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are dangerous. They kidnap people. They kill people all the time. In fact, since 2009, there's been over 60,000 Christians that have been killed. 3 million Christians are displaced in the country, meaning their homes and their villages have been absolutely destroyed. They have nowhere else to go. They're thrown into what we call IDP camps, internally displaced persons camps. Horrible conditions, lack of food, lack of clean water, medical care, all of those things. People dying by the thousands in these camps. So it's not just about the killing, it's about people being displaced as well. The UN estimates, if you can trust the UN, sometimes you can, 350,000 people have died since 2002. That's the formation of Boko Haram. 350,000 people. That's not directly from the violence, but that's from the instability that's brought into the region by groups like Boko Haram and ISWA. So those are the areas that we operate in. We operate in areas that are controlled by Boko Haram. We operate in areas that are controlled by ISWA and Lakurawa. That's what we do. Most of northern Nigeria is controlled by Sharia law. 12 of the northern Nigeria states are controlled by Sharia law. It's a very strict form of Sharia law. This is the kind of Sharia law where if you're caught stealing, they chop off your hand. If you're caught doing drugs, they give you 40 lashes. And under the blasphemy laws in Sharia, they call for the death of anyone who converts from Muslim to Christianity.
Right.
So we deal with that all the time. There are people who leave Islam and come to faith in Christ, and their own family and communities will put a contract out on them to kill them or hire somebody to kill them. So we'll go into those areas and we'll extract people out of what we call situations of imminent danger, and we bring them to our refugee facility where they restart their life.
Yeah.
The government has frozen their bank accounts, taken their assets, even sometimes taken their children. They literally come to us with nothing but the clothes on their back, and we help them to restart their life from that. So to answer your question, yes, it's ideologically based, but there's also an issue. I would call it a socioeconomic issue.
Okay.
Because of the conditions. You have people who make less than $1 a day. Food is probably more expensive there than it is here because of inflation. And so all of those things are feeding into the radicals and feeding into the what would you call it, the discontentment of people there. They're trying to survive. They'll do anything to survive. You also have people who are being recruited by ISWA and Boko Haram who don't want to be part of it, but they're forced to. Basically, they're told, hey, if you don't join us, we'll kill your cattle, we'll kill your children. So you have all kinds of issues coming together. There is an issue with the Fulani Muslims, and the Fulani Muslims are not an ideological group like Boko Haram and ISWA. They're an ethnic group of people, and they predominantly herd cattle. That's what they've done. The history of what they do. They herd cattle. And the Christians in northern Nigeria predominantly are farmers. So what you have throughout the year, depending on the conditions, particularly during the dry season, you have the cattle wandering onto the farmers' crops. The farmers come out, try to defend their livelihood, chase the cattle off. The Fulani Muslims come in and retaliate, and before you know it, there's an entire village that's wiped out. Yeah, wow. I was just in a village called Yalawata, and this was just back in June. 250 Christians were killed in one night, and it all basically goes back to a conflict over grazing ground for cattle.
Something as futile as wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you have lobbied anyone and everyone you can reach in Washington,
absolutely,
to draw attention to this in a way that is meaningful. In essence, not that you have asked for refugees to be brought to the United States. You wish for their land to be safe for Christians to live.
Yes.
What efforts are you making in Washington? Who's helping? Who's not? Not that I need to drag anybody, but talk to me about some of the things that you're trying to get Washington to do there, and then tell me some of the obstacles you're facing.
We've been advocating for members of Congress and even the White House. We have a coalition of congressmen and congresswomen who we're working with on this issue, centered around this issue. We've also been working with the White House as well. And basically what we want is some accountability for Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for us to do any kind of business or to have any kind of relationship with Nigeria, this issue has to be addressed.
Of course.
And up until now, the Nigerian government has denied that there's any kind of genocide or persecution going on at all. In fact, the foreign minister outright said this is an illusion, it's a hoax. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, I've stood at the graves, I've buried friends in mass graves. It's not an illusion and it's not a hoax. But they continue to say that it is. So I would say for about the last 8 months, I've been in Washington, D.C. more than I care to be. And we've been working with our coalition. They are working with the White House to try to get some kind of accountability for Nigeria. So what that looks like is, I would say it's about 5 months ago, that Ted Cruz, and working with his office, he authored and introduced the Nigerian Accountability Act. So what that does is, number one, it puts Nigeria on the country of particular concern list, which President Trump already did, by the way.
I remember.
And that was a huge step because, and let me just go back and explain this. President Trump put Nigeria back on the country of particular concern list when in his first term. President Biden, one of the first things he did was take them off the CPC list.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the reason for that is financially driven. It all goes back to the money. That's one thing I've learned doing this.
You were talking to me about that off air.
Yeah. So what happens is when your country is on the country of particular concern list, there's limitations to what those countries can do and their interaction with the United States.
Right.
So take, for example, this is just one small example. Nigeria has some of the largest airlines in Africa. Well, they have to buy airplane parts from Boeing and other places, and we manufacture those here. It's going to be very difficult for them to get those parts when they're on the CPC list.
Right.
You can do it, but it's more complicated. So that's just one example of why there's a financial motivation for an administration to take them off the list, right? And so that's what President Biden did. So that year that he did that, there were 7,000 Christians that were killed in northern Nigeria. So while Christians are being slaughtered in northern Nigeria, President Biden takes them off the country of particular concern.
Let me ask you this, Brad. So when something like that happens, I'm assuming you guys are in Nigeria, knowing in your heart of hearts that people are going to get slaughtered because of that action.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What is that like when you know that, when you hear that
frustrating.
happens?
It's absolutely frustrating because you have people who are making decisions that have never been to northern Nigeria, have never seen what's going on, don't know what's happening, and they're making decisions, and you see the lives that it's costing. You see it in front of your eyes. And so it is very frustrating from that perspective.
It must have been, knowing that Donald Trump had placed them on this list.
So one of the first things President Trump did was put them back on the country of particular concern list.
Yeah.
And then about that time, Ted Cruz introduced his Nigerian Accountability Act, which imposes sanctions on the Nigerian government and also Nigerian governors and local leaders who promote Sharia law. And that's key to really stabilizing the region. So we've been working to help to make sure that gets passed. Right now, I think it's sitting in a judiciary committee, so we're working there. I was just testifying at some hearings just a couple weeks ago in Washington, D.C. I spoke at the Capitol Hill Club there. So we've been working to make sure that this happens. Now, we've also consulted State Department and Department of War because we've written a stabilization strategy for northern Nigeria. And part of that strategy was to use kinetic action to minimize or weaken the radical groups that are causing a lot of the violence. So like I mentioned, Lakurawa and ISWA and Boko Haram.
Can you lay that out for me? What would that look like?
That's what happened on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, when you had 17 airstrikes that strategically hit Lakurawa strongholds in northwest Nigeria, Sokoto region. So that's what that looks like. Now, My position is, and our strategy calls for the continuation of kinetic action in northern Nigeria against the radical groups.
Right.
Now, we're not calling for kinetic action against the Fulani Muslims, although they are violent and there are some that are radicalized.
Right. But we have to let them know that there are consequences for it.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And that's exactly what happened on Christmas Day, was we sent a message saying there are consequences if you're going to continue doing this. But I think the more important message that it sent was to the Christians of Nigeria, because they now know that the United States is in their corner. For the first time. This has been going on for 15 years, and for the first time, this administration made a decision that said, we're with you. We're standing in solidarity with you. We're in your corner. And that has emboldened the Christians in northern Nigeria like you wouldn't believe.
Let me ask you this before we go to break. This is not a hard thing for the United States to do, right? This isn't... there's so many people who are always pushing back, like, we're not the police of the world, as it were. If you could, in a minute, what would you say to that as far as when it comes to Nigeria? We can't sit idly by while watching people be massacred.
I think it's the same thing that I mentioned before. We are the most powerful nation in the world. There is no other country that can do something about the slaughter of tens of thousands of Christians that's happened, and even every year. Last year was 8,000. We're the only country that can do something about it. When you're the only one that can stop something, you are morally obligated and you have a responsibility to step in. It'd be the same thing in your home or your neighborhood. If you could stop some atrocity from happening and you stood by and said, I don't really feel like it today, you're morally obligated to say. It's the same thing when it comes to countries. We're the only one who can do something about it, and so that puts us on another level that makes us responsible to respond.
I tell people all the time, we are the most powerful source of good on this earth, and we have to use it judiciously, without a doubt. Brad Brandon is here. He is live. Stand by. We've got more news and more views with him to talk about. And, of course, if you've got any questions, do it in the chat room. I'll see if I can get it to him. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. And this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're heading toward Hartford on the southbound side of 91, just a little bit of a delay getting by 33 Jennings Road. If you're traveling eastbound 84, you're going to see delays in West Hartford, 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 slows Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 291 through 84, that looks good. No problems on 2 into Glastonbury. 9 northbound slowing Harvard Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84 is tight 22 to the Mixmaster. If you're traveling northbound on the Parkway, some slow traffic by 46 in New Haven. South 95 tight 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit, open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy the rest of this afternoon and remitting. Chilly, high 33. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Very cold overnight with a low of 6 above. Tomorrow, partly sunny, again chilly, high 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, low 8. Thursday, mostly sunny and chilly, high 31. Quite cold on Friday. Some sunshine to start, then increasing cloudiness, high just 26. We expect snow Friday night. Snow likely accumulating and coating to an inch, enough to make roads slippery. Low Friday night, 13. Then windy and bitterly cold this weekend. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, a high of just 17. Feeling colder with the wind. Sunday, a good deal of sunshine, a high temperature 15. And again, the wind will make it feel even colder. Not quite as cold, not quite as windy on Monday. A good deal of sunshine. Monday's high reaching 22 degrees. And temperatures will moderate slightly as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
32 degrees at 4:30. I'm John Silva. The House has passed a roughly $1.2 trillion spending package to end partial government shutdown. The bill next goes to President Trump for his signature. Vote wraps up congressional work on 11 of the 12 annual appropriations bills, funding the vast majority of the government for the budget year ending September 30th. 2026 General Assembly session gets underway on Wednesday. A short one, only 13 weeks. Governor Lamont promising a tax rebate on electricity bills. He talked about that and other elements, or will, in his State of the State address on Wednesday, which you can hear live here on WTIC beginning at noon. Still no developments in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities believe she was likely abducted. She was last seen Saturday in her home in the Tucson area. State police in Washington, Connecticut, looking for a driver who drives erratically along Route 109 every morning in a different vehicle with different plates. The driver managed to evade police, they say, and led them on a high-speed chase along Route 8. We've got photos of this on our website at WTIC.com. President Trump calling for Republicans to nationalize elections, arguing that Democrats will try to interfere with the midterms, while Democrats criticize the president for essentially trying to do the same thing. And the Hartford Yard Goats will have a new manager for the 2026 campaign. Robinson Cancel has managed in the Colorado Rockies organization for a decade. He'll be at the helm when the Goats open the season, that is, on April 2nd against the Chesapeake Bay Sox, affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. On Wall Street, the Dow down 166 points today. The NASDAQ gave back 336, and the S&P was down 58. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition. It's fully treatable. And at Northeast Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll also likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Northeast Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55, but unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey guys, we are back. Brandon is here. We're going to continue talking to him. We're telling old ghost stories in the background about our careers. We'll get to it's so much more. Can I, in a couple of minutes that we have before we get back to weather and traffic. So you've been a writer now for 3 years. You're at the Daily Wire. By the way, just because my audience would hate me if I didn't ask. Sure. Do you have a relationship with Ben Shapiro at all?
No, I don't actually.
No,
I'm so disconnected that every once in a while I go to the offices in Nashville, but other than that, I don't. I'm just a writer. They just publish my articles. That's about it.
So, and I know you write for the Washington Times.
Yes. I have a good relationship with everybody at the Washington Times, by the way.
Who am I thinking of at the Washington Times as a contributor over at Fox News that I really like?
Yeah.
Byron?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's Byron, right?
Yes, Byron.
Byron York.
That's right, yes.
Byron York. He interviewed me once back in 2015 or 2016 in Leesburg. He interviewed me because I was at a Trump rally. I was at a Trump rally. I was one of the few black people that walked up there, and all of these reporters were walking up to me. I was like, hey, the hell, what's going on?
What's going on?
They were like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They were asking me all of these crazy questions, and I'm going, they're like, it's like one guy from England who was like, so you're here at a Trump rally. And I went, yeah. He goes,
So,
well, I'm just curious why you're here. And I went, because Trump is speaking? And he goes, okay. What was funny about that, because we were talking in the background, this actually happened. So he says to me, it's the day that Donald Trump goes in the news and says that he saw people cheering in New York after September 11th.
Yes.
And people were saying George Stephanopoulos and everyone. So the guy from England asked me, Donald Trump says that people were cheering in New York after September 11th.
Right.
What do you think of that? And I went, well, he's telling the truth. The guy goes, well, no, there's no published reports of that. And I respond to him and I go, that's funny. I got phone calls that day that people were celebrating in New York. He goes, you did? And I went, yeah. I was working at Hot 97 on the day it happened, and we got phone calls from Liberty Park across the water where people were cheering. Yeah, and people calling in the street, calling us. We're in a hip-hop station.
Reports of
people celebrating in the streets in Jersey on the Hudson Rivers, on the Jersey side of the Hudson River, and in Manhattan. People were calling. It's like, yeah, there are people down here dancing and celebrating. We got that call. So I looked at him and I also.
But who gets their news from Hot 97?
Exactly. Who gets their news from Hot 97?
Famous movie.
But the guy says to me, I said to him, did you hear that there was a mass shooting in New Orleans? Because that day there was a mass shooting in New Orleans. I said, did you hear about the mass shooting in New Orleans? And he goes, no, I didn't hear about it. I said, well, I guess if you didn't hear about it, it must not have happened.
Must not have happened. Yeah. There you go.
And that was his whole argument about people cheering, because there was no published reports. And I said, you guys think that news happens because you report on it?
Because you report on it makes it legit.
Yeah, legit.
Right.
But I always go back. You like movies, so you'll remember this quote. At the end of Boys in the Hood, Ice Cube says to Trey.
He's just talking about this movie with my wife
and he
today.
says to him, he goes, I was watching the news, and they have no news about my brother. Either they don't know, or don't show, or they don't care about what's going on in the hood.
There you go. That's it.
And people think that if it's not in the news, it didn't happen.
Yep. That's right.
So I thought that was just odd that guy was like, yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, I guess the genocide in Nigeria isn't happening.
There you go.
Right?
That was my whole point, right?
Because that hasn't been in the news for a decade.
Indeed, exactly. Yeah. We'll talk more about that when we get back. Brandon is here. And we'll continue our conversation today. Mark Christopher, he's here as well. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
Well,
hey, Mark.
How can you cover that story when you got the Kardashians? I mean, really, there's only so much time in a day to cover things, right?
Absolutely right, sir.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, the ride on southbound 91, you're going to see delays from 33 down to 32 AMD. Northbound 91 moving well. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Boakey Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you got slow traffic, 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 384 is okay. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound is a little slow approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound a little tight again. Berlin into New Britain, 32 to 34. Westbound 84 into Waterbury, delays from 23 up to the Mixmaster. South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy this evening, mostly cloudy and very cold overnight. A low of 6 and a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. High 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, dropping to a low of 8 degrees. Thursday, chilly and mostly sunny, high 31. Sunshine followed by clouds on Friday, cold with a high of 26. And we expect some snow Friday night, an inch or so could accumulate. Right now it is 31 degrees in Meriden. It's 32 degrees in Vernon and still 33 at Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Got a tree causing big trouble in a tiny space? Don't risk it. Call the experts who specialize in the impossible jobs. At Tree Wise Guys of Connecticut, we handle the heavy lifting so you don't have to. From precision limb cutting and stump grinding to full land cleaning and emergency storm damage cleanup. No job is too big and no space is too tight. When it matters most, trust the guys who know trees. Trust Tree Wise Guys of Connecticut. Visit treewiseguysct.com today to get a free quote on your next project. That's treewiseguysct.com. PFChang's.com.
This year, flavor doesn't walk. It runs wild. At P.F. Chang's, we're charging into the year of the horse with bold new wok-fired dishes like pork belly bao buns and refreshing cocktails like the Midnight Gallop. P.F. Chang's beloved red envelope tradition returns, adding a surprise element to every visit during the Lunar New Year. Each guest receives a red envelope revealing a special offer redeemable on a future visit. Celebrate the Lunar New Year with flavor that runs wild at P.F. Chang's. Valid for dine-in only while supplies last. Details at pfchangs.com.
Real sports talk for real sports fans. What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and you can catch You Better You Bet with me weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the new Westwood One Sports. From being live from Radio Row for the big game to being joined by the biggest names in sports and entertainment, it's sports talk for people that love sports. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Brad Brandon is here. I don't know if you heard that promo. It says the NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I can read that. They're not fans. They're not fans. We've tried to communicate with them. They're just not fans.
They don't respond.
No, they don't respond.
Surprise.
It's my own deal. It's me. I just grew up as very, very damaged as a child. I'm taking it out on them.
I might steal that line from you, by the way.
So, Brad, you again. This is something that has been important to you. Again, you've been involved since 10 years.
Yeah.
I think it's only appropriate that we sort of get an origin story from you about this. Was this something, as a Christian, you heard about and wanted to get involved? How exactly did your involvement begin?
I didn't know much about it, and I hope I don't freak any of your listeners out, but God told me to go. That's really how it started.
My audience would understand that.
Okay. And I was pastoring a church here in Connecticut, and happy, everything great. And all of a sudden, I got a directive from God that I needed to go to northern Nigeria. He literally purchased a one-way ticket to Abuja, Nigeria, which is the capital city in the north. I'll make the story short because I don't want to bore anybody, but I ended up landing there and saying, okay, God, here I am. And through turn of events, I ended up in a Fulani Muslim village, and that's how we started. Nobody goes to Fulani Muslim villages. But I went into a Fulani Muslim village because I felt God leading me into that village. And 10 years later, I'm really good friends with the chief of that village. We build schools in Fulani Muslim communities. That's something else I should mention, too, is that more proof that some of this is socioeconomic in nature.
Yeah.
Wherever we build a school, we have over 4,000 students in our school system, Muslim students. And wherever we build a school, the violence drops by about 60 to 70%.
Really?
Yeah, we open up doors of opportunity that they would never they would never have otherwise. Let's put it that way. Literacy rates among Fulani children are less than 1%. They can't even read and write their own language, Hausa, let alone English, which is the national language of Nigeria. I speak Hausa. So we teach them not only to read and write their own language, we teach them to read and write English. That's like having a college education in northern Nigeria.
Is that, the term interloper only comes to mind because these African nations see Americans, doesn't matter white, black, or anything, it's just Americans as interlopers, people who are coming in to rabble-rouse, in many cases, bring Christianity into our region, which is also sort of where some of the unrest comes in. They are invading our space. Are you met with that?
I've never felt that there.
Okay.
Even among Muslims, I don't feel that. And we don't make any, we don't hide the fact that we're Christians and we're doing what we're doing because we're Christians. We use our ministries there as platforms. Ultimately, we want to introduce people to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We want them to know the Savior, Jesus Christ. But that's not how we start off. Real quick, I look at it like this. The Bible talks about, as Christians, we produce something Scripture calls the fruit of the Spirit. The reason why it's called fruit in Scripture is because fruit is the reproductive organ of a plant. It's how that plant reproduces. So you cut open an apple, there's apple seeds inside. And so we're called as Christians to produce that fruit. and that reproductive organ. So the more fruit that we produce in our lives, the more, hopefully, we plant the seeds of faith in people around us.
When you are in these Muslim regions and developing schools, I think it's only as you were talking about that, I'm saying to myself, do you introduce Christianity in those schools?
No,
or do you
not
respect
in the schools.
Okay, so you respect their religious.
Yeah. What we do is try to build relationships with people.
Okay.
People don't care what you know till they know that you care.
Okay.
So number one thing is we want to build relationships with the communities, with the people. We never try to proselytize their children.
Okay,
That would create a
many
huge
people,
problem.
I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was going into. Like, is that where some of the friction is coming from? Because you're walking in as Christians, and with Muslims, they're a little protective of their own religion, and they see you as someone who's coming in to
We have
proselytize.
phenomenal relationships with thousands of Fulani Muslim communities throughout northern Nigeria.
Okay.
We've never felt any pushback. We've never even felt unwelcome. Like I said, I embed myself in their communities for a good part of the year.
Yeah.
I speak their language, which blows them away when a white guy walks into their village and he's speaking Hausa.
Yeah.
And so
it's a form of respect, by the way.
Oh, it absolutely
It's a form
is.
of respect to learn their language and to speak. I wish we could get some people here to understand that. I mean, just saying.
I agree with you.
That is such a great point. Is that you go to their country, no matter what it is, like you don't walk in there. You are wealthier than and more educated than any one of them, but still you are not above learning the language of the people there, showing it respect.
Studying Hausa so I could speak to them.
Yeah,
in their own language.
It's just amazing. I wish people would kind of recognize that, like the importance of understanding the origin language of the country you go to.
Yes.
Anyway,
It's
go
very
ahead. Sorry.
So that's the work that we do. We build those relationships with those communities. And like I said, I've never felt unwelcome. There's been times when I've felt in danger.
Really?
Of course. I mean, we're in areas that are controlled by radical Islamic terrorist groups.
Okay, that's another question I wanted to ask in the last break. So you've seen or buried a lot of people here, friends of yours who have been killed. How do you not, is there a respect? Do they know not to touch you because you're American? That would create more heat or a problem for them? Is that the reason why people like you or your ministry does not get touched?
I think there may be some of that.
Okay.
I think mostly it's because we have such great relationships with Fulani Muslims that they know not to touch us because we're friends with this tribe or this group.
Okay.
One of my great friends, who's one of the first chiefs I ever came in contact with, El Hadji Gambo, 10 years ago. He's a very powerful chief in northern Nigeria. And we're good friends that anybody knows that if they mess with me, they're going to mess with him. So I think God has created these relationships and these environments in which I'm able to operate, I say safely, but in relative safety.
Yeah.
But you also have conflicts between different Fulani communities, so they're not going to care about that relationship. And there's I know right now I have it was reported anyway that I have 3 contracts out in my life. Most of that's from Boko Haram.
They don't care.
Yeah, contract. I should clarify. Contracts not to kill me. The good news is not to kill me, but to kidnap me. So I guess they're only going to kidnap me.
Okay. Well, be careful, Brad. By the way, note to Roland, make sure that we find a way to get very, very good with the gangbangers here, especially the leader of any of the groups.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I'm going to follow your lead on that one. I'm going to follow your lead on that one.
Yeah.
Trust me, we've been known to rabble-rouse here.
Yeah.
We might need to have some of those connections.
But our ministry does such amazing things in these communities. We bring in medical aid. We bring in clean water wells. We build drill boreholes for clean water. We bring in education. I mean, they know that if they start messing with us, they're going to lose all of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's developing that kind of relationship is very, very key.
It is.
How do we, I hate to put it this way, because I don't mean to be rude, but how do we civilize a place like Nigeria?
It's very complicated. I think I mentioned before that we've authored a stabilization strategy for northern Nigeria.
Right.
We've been working with the State Department and submitted it to our coalition of Congress members and all of that. A lot of what we've submitted is being followed too, which is good. It's extremely complicated, but I think one of the things is we have to quelch the Islamic terrorism that is destabilizing the entire region. So I think in there we call for kinetic action to do that. But we also have to control the borders. Anytime the Nigerian military goes in and tries to do anything to stop Boko Haram or ISWA, they just slip across the border into Niger or Cameroon, disappear until the military pulls back, and then they come back. So you got to secure that northern border, but you also have to bring economic stability to that region. And so that's our strategy calls for ways to bring economic stability. Local policing and security is a big thing. Nigeria has some of the strictest gun laws in Africa. You know what that means. It means only the bad guys can have guns.
Right?
And so that's the same thing. Christians and any good people don't have guns, so the bad guys come in and wipe out an entire village, and there's nothing to stop them.
What talk to me a little bit about the bipartisan efforts that are being made in Washington as far as to help you. Have you I think you said it to me on Sunday that you're not seeing any sort of partisanship in Washington where people aren't helpful to this cause.
No, I wouldn't, but I would say that Trump derangement syndrome certainly is alive and well. And
really?
So anything that Trump said, I wish it wouldn't be that way when it comes to a genocide of people. I would think that that we all could look at a genocide of Christians being slaughtered and say, that's probably wrong, we should do something.
Are you telling me that there are people, there's a degree of brinksmanship because Donald Trump has put attention on genocide?
Yes.
And people are saying they don't want to help?
Yeah.
Or
they're siding with the Nigerian government and saying, oh, it's all a hoax, it's not happening.
Please tell me Chris Murphy's on that list. Please, come on, just tell me. Is he on that list?
I don't want to say. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I don't really know because I haven't had a lot of interaction with him. I'd like to have some interaction and find out, but I don't know the answer
he's
to
on
that
tour.
question.
He's on tour.
He's too busy.
Yes, he's on tour to get 1% of the possible, chunk of votes there are in the 2028 election. Yes, he's managed to get at least 1%. He's written a book. Maybe he'll get 2%, but whatever. I just don't understand it because I know you don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and it's very kind of you to do that.
I'm trying to build a coalition.
I understand.
And stop a genocide, and that's what I'm.
No
about.
offense, but I thought you ever one of those things where just like, hey, I don't want.
I'm not offended.
Can you imagine someone saying, I don't want puppies to die? Does Trump want the puppies to die?
Of course he does, right? It's Trump derangement syndrome, and anything he says is evil, wrong. You name it. We've talked about all.
So it isn't even. You know what's so crazy because we've been joking on this. Trump gave that address to Congress speech where he says that it doesn't matter what I do, I could I could solve.
No, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, I would solve the most incurable disease or cause the most economic upliftment of a generation, and these people would still be dissatisfied.
And what's happening in Nigeria is a perfect example of what he said. He goes in to try to stop and working with members of Congress, not just him, but members of Congress and his State Department, trying to stop a genocide, a slaughter of an entire group of people. And there are still a coalition of members of Congress that are opposed to it and saying, oh, it's really not happening. It's really not real. And basically taking the playbook from the Nigerian government, who, by the way, I should add, has hired a lobby firm in Washington, D.C. to the tune of $9 million to try to convince members of Congress that this isn't happening.
I'm not going to lie. This is the most important part of this whole story.
Yeah. We just uncovered that when I was in D.C. last time. I pulled the documents from the Department of Justice.
Yeah. Okay. So, folks, please listen to this. This is the most incredible part of this. And I was telling Brad that I'd read this book called All the Worst People. I have to find the title of it, so I'll get it. I'll text it to you.
K Street has some of the worst people.
So in essence, the book is about this guy who worked for a firm that in essence does publicity for some of the worst people across the globe. Yeah. In this guy's story, he's talking about being the PR guy for Gaddafi and his son.
Yep.
There are people, there's an organization in Washington, D.C., who are a lobbying group for the government of Nigeria, who is just turning a blind eye to the genocide of Christians.
And they've been paid $9 million to convince members of Congress
the government of Nigeria has spent $9 million.
I have the disclosure documents from the Department of Justice. 100%. Yeah. No joke. And they're actively doing that. I was supposed to have a dinner meeting with the First Lady of Nigeria on Monday, just yesterday, in Washington, D.C. The lobby group got involved and basically disinvited me.
Right.
Because I'm outspoken about what's happening.
And the disinvited
they don't want to have
thing,
a conversation. They don't want to have dialogue. They want to shut and silence the voices.
So you being disinvited doesn't mean that the meeting didn't happen. You were just not allowed to attend it.
Yeah, I just wasn't allowed to attend it. I have members of friends of mine who are members of Congress. I was just texting with Congressman Stutzman before the show, and he went to the meeting. I asked him how it went because he knew I was disinvited. So we were having an interesting conversation about that.
Okay.
But they're trying to snow all of they're targeting Republican members of Congress who are trying to advocate for Christians in Nigeria. They're trying to come in and get them to change their mind on what's actually happening in Nigeria. And the whole thing has to do with Nigeria is losing investors, foreign investors, by the billions of dollars last year. They lost, I think it was 84% of their increase of foreign investors, meaning that they lost 84% of the increase.
But it's just mining, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's oil.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of other things that Nigeria does and has. But we're talking billions, hundreds of billions of dollars at stake. So foreign investors are leaving Nigeria.
Because they don't want to be a part of this.
Because they don't want to be a part of the instability. They don't want to be a part of the bad image now that Nigeria has. No longer is it the Nigerian prince who's trying to take your money from you. Now it's an entire genocide of a group of people. So they have that tarnished image now, and foreign investors are fleeing. So the reason why they paid $9 million to the lobby firm was to clean up their image so that they can get the foreign investors
Instead of just cleaning up their
Instead
image.
of just cleaning up their own country and using that $9 million to help the people in their own country who need it. And they continue to not even lift a finger to do anything to stop the genocide in northern Nigeria. Yeah. It's a convoluted mess.
It is.
Yeah. And now I've made a few enemies in Washington, D.C. with the DCI group because they don't like me now. And Senator Tommy Tuberville told me, he said, well, if you don't make a few enemies in Washington, then you're not doing anything. So I guess we're doing something. Yeah.
Brad Brandon, thank you so much. AcrossNigeria.org.
Right. Yeah.
AcrossNigeria.org. Check it out. Find out a way that you can help. Follow Brad. Brad, please. I know you're traveling all over the place, but I got your cell phone number. Please, can you come back?
I'll absolutely come back. Whenever you want me to come back, I'd be glad to.
Without a doubt. Please.
I had a good time.
We
had a good time on and off the air. This was great.
It's Reese on the Radio. Everybody loves this show, man. I'm teasing. Thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. We will have Brad back. Thank you, guys. We'll take a break. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading 84 eastbound into Hartford, look for delays 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. If you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, delays East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley out to 43 Park Road in West Hartford. If you are on the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see delays 33 down to 32A and B. If you're traveling 291, 384, no problems east of the river. 2 eastbound's a good ride into Glastonbury. 9 north and southbound slowing at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound, you've got some slow traffic by 31 in Berlin. Again, approaching exit 24 in New Britain. Southbound side of Route 9, some delays getting by exit 25 in New Britain. If you're traveling 84 westbound in Cheshire, delays 26 to 25 in Waterbury, again at the Mixmaster. And 95 South New Haven slowing from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Very cold overnight with a low of 6 above. Tomorrow partly sunny, again chilly, high 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, low 8. Thursday, mostly sunny and chilly, high 31. Quite cold on Friday. Some sunshine to start, then increasing cloudiness, high just 26. We expect snow Friday night. Snow likely accumulating and coating to an inch. Enough to make roads slippery. Low Friday night, 13. Then windy and bitterly cold this weekend. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, a high of just 17. Feeling colder with the wind. Sunday, a good deal of sunshine. A high temperature 15. And again, the wind will make it feel even colder. Not quite as cold, not quite as windy on Monday. A good deal of sunshine. Monday's high reaching 22 degrees, and temperatures will moderate slightly as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature, 32 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. You will hear a lot about ways to make life in Connecticut more affordable as state lawmakers convene for their new legislative session on Wednesday. We got a preview from WTIC's Dave Mager.
Democratic State Rep Chris Poulos of Southington will consider Governor Lamont's plan for a $200 per person tax rebate. He's looking at the potential return on investment on this and other matters.
Stabilizing Connecticut amid federal uncertainty. I'm looking forward to working to find ways to make life as affordable as possible.
Republican State Rep Dave Ratigliano of Trumbull is also focused on economics.
The Republican caucus really is focused on affordability this year. We'd like to see a property tax credit.
He says Lamont's tax rebate doesn't go far enough. Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Kate Diaz, the president of the Connecticut Education Association, says she's interested in how lawmakers will help fill the many teacher vacancies they're facing.
We're 100% looking at a shortage of educators in our pipeline, if you will. So we'd roughly need to produce somewhere around 1,700 educators annually in the state of Connecticut to fill all the vacancies. And we do not do that on an annual basis. We're closer to 1,000.
The House has passed a bill to end that partial government shutdown.
The measure funds most of the government through September 30th while providing the Department of Homeland Security with short-term funding for 2 weeks while lawmakers negotiate potential changes to ICE operations, as Democrats demanded.
Of the demands that were made, the requests that were made, many of those are already being implemented.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
The roving patrols will be modified. There are a lot of things that I think were thoughtful suggestions that would have already been implemented by Mr. Homan and others who are in charge of all this. And so I think we can get to an agreement. I certainly hope that's true.
Correspondent Cammie McCormick on that report. State Controller Sean Scanlon says the economic outlook for Connecticut in 2026 is a tale of two stories. Although the surplus has decreased by over $50 million, still stands at a healthy $89 million plus. Scanlon says a wild card is the nomination of Kevin Warsh as Federal Reserve Chair.
I think a precondition of Mr. Warsh getting the job is that he's going to do what the president wants. Well, once he has the job and gets in there and does what the president wants, what effect does that have on this fragile economy?
He adds the job market bears watching. Unemployment has crept up to 4.2% from a low of 3.2%. Search continues in Arizona for the mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her Tucson area home Saturday night. Officials say they're racing against the clock because the 84-year-old is in need of medication that essentially keeps her alive. The sheriff's department says they're leaning toward an abduction. The FBI is part of the investigation. This is Assistant Special Agent in charge for Tucson, John Edwards.
Primarily, it's analytical and technical support in the following ways. We're downloading and analyzing cell phones, obtaining cell tower information, conducting interviews, and providing any and all investigative support that the Sheriff's Department needs.
A long look at the latest batch of Epstein files released by the government has some outrage. Stacey Lynn reports.
Sky Roberts' sister, Virginia Giuffre, was one of Epstein's most vocal accusers. She committed suicide last year.
Right now, we are more interested in protecting the perpetrators than actually protecting the victims.
He told CBS Mornings he's outraged about the unredaction of victims' names in the released files.
I think that it's incredibly insensitive and re-traumatizing.
Wall Street, the Dow down 166 points today. The NASDAQ gave back 336, and the S&P was down 58. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-529-2856. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-529-2856. That's 800-529-2856 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Ha! You didn't. I knew you didn't know I left. Ha! I knew you didn't know I left. I was running back all the way over there because I had to grab a printout. And I was trying to get it before I got back here. I was going to do the music news, but I got all this stuff and I'm out of breath. So they did something to me here at the office. Let me just tell you some inside baseball stuff. So, and I want to thank Brad Brandon for being here. Thank you, big guy. And we'll have Brad back as more news develops in Nigeria. Anyway, so this computer here to my right used to take all of my stuff and print it right out in the newsroom. So I could just go around the corner, take me 30 seconds. I can grab it. But they rewired something. And there's a different network, and they brought in new computers and some other stuff. So they tried to get this printer to go right back to the newsroom, and it's not there. So instead, they put it all the way in the kitchen. Now, where's the printer in the kitchen is about a football field away. So I've got to go all the way down, at least, okay, fine, 50 yards, 60 yards at best. So I got to go all the way down there, around the corner, 2 corners, to get it, and then I got to come all the way back. And so I went out during the news break. John Silver's on, and I got to pass John Silver where he's doing the news. And I come back, and John Silver's not in the newsroom anymore. And I go, I thought I was going to be back before your news. He's like, yeah, fat chance. So I got to run in here. No sooner than I open the door, he's playing the rejoiner. And here I am. So I wasn't even ready for the break. But, you know, like I said, I'm always here. Someone sent me a text message. Todd O sent me a text message about Lamont. I'll talk about that in a minute. I talked about it briefly. We were talking about how to beat Lamont this coming election. But I had the story, so I will bring that up. As well. We'll talk about that, and plus we'll wrap it up with some phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And Mark Christopher, he's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of I-91. You're going to see just a little slow traffic as you move between 33 and 32 A and B. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford, out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the Bulkley Bridge. Now, if you're heading in toward the Middletown area, both sides of 9 a little slow, approaching the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound, some slow traffic by 31 in Berlin. Again, a little slow up by 24, 9 northbound in New Britain. Westbound 84, you're tied up from 26 in Cheshire to 25 in Waterbury. South 95, New Haven, tight from 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Increasing cloudiness, but I'm very cold, a low of 6. Then today I'm partly sunny, tomorrow high 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, low 8. Chilly on Thursday, a good deal of sunshine, high 31 degrees. Very cold Friday, sunshine will give way to clouds, a high just 26. We do expect some snow Friday night, not a major storm. It could be up to an inch or so accumulated, enough to make roads slippery. And then windy, very cold weather expected this weekend. Right now it is 31 in Canton. It's 30 degrees at Bristol and 32 at Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
We know that you want the best for your child. That's why you can trust our expert pediatric dentists here at Columbia Dental, who are trained to meet and handle your child's unique dental needs. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. I'll read the story about about this $200 giveaway by Lamont tomorrow. Just so much other stuff that we have to get into. But thank you for the heads up for those of you who gave it. There's so much stuff that we have to get into here. And again, I want to thank Brandon for coming in. John Beckman says, God bless Brad for doing God's work. Sure enough. Carmela said, just heard on the news that teachers union is asking for their addresses to be protected, but many of them across the country are just fine with doxing others. She writes. Very true. Yeah, Steve is an interesting cat. He writes, Islam is stupid and insane. Christianity is stupid and insane. Until humans realize there is no God, we're doomed. Now, Steve, I know you're always here because you like the show. Or you hate like it. But I know you're always here. But if I can for a second, I'd like to address your point of view here. Islam is stupid and insane. Christianity is stupid and insane. And then you go on to tell the rest of us what we need to do or we're doomed. Says you why? Like, what makes you the arbiter of what we should do and how we should live our lives? What makes you the wise, omnipotent one? I like guys like you. I've met you for years. You're always telling humans how to behave. You're so much more knowledgeable than the rest of us. Telling others that their religions are stupid, and until they do the thing that you think is wise for them, we're all doomed. And I'd like to ask you one simple question. How you doing? Is your life serene? Are you at peace with yourself? I doubt it. In fact, I sincerely doubt it. I know exactly who you are, my friend. You're a hater. And you are welcome here. I love a good hater. I love a good hater, especially one who thinks that he knows better than everybody else. If you only listen to me, if you only do what I tell you, your life's going to suck. And then you meet said person. And he's driving a Dodge Dart. With fuzzy dice in the mirror. The car makes horrible noises when you put it in reverse. He's the one who knows. He is all-seeing, all-knowing. You guys, you need to follow my lead so we can all live in tranquility. Why does your car smell like that? I don't know. How can you be doomed if there is no God? Who dooms me? Great question, Craig. Great question. I just love it. I just love the hate. I just love it. Because he sounds miserable. And I know that, listen to me, and I'm telling you, my wife loves to say this to me. If you smelt it, you dealt it. I know what miserable sounds like. That sounds like me. Steve, I recognize you like you were my twin. Like I were looking in the mirror. Boy, I used to be you. I used to tell people all the time that, like, Reese, why are you so angry? I said, there's a war going on outside, son. ain't nobody safe. So I come out the door with a flamethrower because life is there to shoot at me. And if he doesn't get this shot off, I'm burning it down. That was my attitude. Regularly. Not just on nights and weekends. I was that guy 24. Listen to me. You want proof? You want proof? Let me give you proof. John Beckman is in the chat room. John Beckman has known me for years. John Beckman has watched the evolution of Reese on the Radio. He will tell you. He used to do a podcast with me over on the left coast. He heard me every day. He knows I'm a hater. He knows that I'm a hater to my core. I used to come in like literally my whole attitude was guns blazing. I suffered no fools. And I was vicious, mean, and spiteful. He'll tell you. He will tell you. Larry says, some people will pack the snowball, but they won't throw it. That's very true. That's very true. John Beckman says that his grandma had a Chevy Nova. That's not, listen to me, I don't know about you, but I grew up liking the Chevy Nova. The Dodge Dart, that's a different thing. Roland, have you ever seen a Gremlin? You ever seen a Gremlin? The car, yeah. You have? Have you ever driven it? You need to drive it. Just once. Just once. You have to understand that driving a Gremlin is what I would call the personification of at risk. Vulnerable. That car is the most vulnerable. In fact, it rivals how vulnerable you would feel in a smart car. Have you ever driven in one of those? Never driven in one of those? I've driven in one of those before. The smart car? Oh, man. I felt like I was riding on a two-person bike. What did they make that thing out? I thought it was made of absolute plastic, that little car. I couldn't believe that I was fitting in it. It's so small. I call it Optimus Prime's pinky toe. That's what I would call it. Yes, Michael B. Yes, both of us were on that show. Both of us were. I was a hateful person on that show. And everybody knew it, too. Mean-spirited. So, Steve, I just want to tell you that, you're always welcome here. This is a place where you belong. It's made for you. This place is made for you. And I've made it special for you. Hold on, I'm getting some. Steve is Al Bundy. That's what Tato says. That Steve is Al Bundy. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. That's exactly. And I think that a lot of people really resonate with, like, can really identify with Al Bundy. He was one of my favorite characters growing up. I think he's the personification of a beaten man. That's what he was. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, Reese, how are you?
Pretty good.
I won't take much time on affordable housing.
Yeah.
One of the state favors these brute force solutions to force people to do things they don't want and don't like. And you get the academic class that invents terms like underutilized for land that's got forests or there's no building on it, farmland, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because there's not a condo on it yet or low-income housing.
Right.
And the other we talked about, and you thought it was funny, overhoused.
Yes.
Was a term, for the empty nest old couples
Yes.
with 3 or 4 bedrooms.
It's a great
and
line.
They don't want to move. They don't want to move. And so one of the interruptions of causing real estate transactions is the conveyance fee, the state tax when you sell the property. This is not a capital gains tax. This is a transaction tax.
Right.
And so if you flip the house to maybe a real estate broker who then looks for someone who wants to market it as rental housing, it's got to be sold again. And you pay that conveyance tax twice. And in my town, they charge 0.25%. So my neighborhood's full of $400,000 and $500,000 houses. So you're writing a check for $4,000 or $5,000 just to convey the property.
Damn.
You don't get it back. It's a dead loss. It's friction. It's a churning fee. Nobody's talking about getting rid of it or eliminating it to cause more housing to come onto the market because people want to avoid that $5,000 check. And I think of this because you weren't making a joke. The governor's going to propose, a $200?
Yes.
What's he calling it, a rebate?
He's calling, a $200 per person tax rebate.
And the question is it going to be a credit against income tax, which means only people paying an income tax will get any kind of money
Correct.
back? We don't know that because we haven't heard the particulars. But this real estate conveyance tax, and for a while it was tiered, progressive. So if you had a house worth more than $500,000, when that really meant something, a few years back, it was a higher rate. I think it was 1.5%. They, tiered it to get more money out of the so-called mansions. Now I think that's the sweet spot for most of the houses in Connecticut, $400,000 and $500,000. And so, lower that conveyance tax. It holds people up. It's a friction tax to cause real estate transactions to get more houses on the market right away. And you don't need that brute force of forcing towns and citizens to do things they don't want to do and don't look forward to.
Yeah, it's it's so interesting you say that because that's exactly what government, well, at least this administration, has been very much vocal in, is getting people to do stuff that they shouldn't have to do, which is another story in and of itself. Thank you, sir.
Hey, on today's election, Tony Wang, if he doesn't get elected, and I don't know, we haven't heard yet,
yeah.
I sure hope he puts his hand in to run for Attorney General. I think he's a lawyer and or the Secretary of State. I think he's got name recognition and gravitas. I think he could be a good competitor in that fold.
All right, without a doubt. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
You got it. Scott is in the car. What's going on, sir?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm good. What's up?
This is a little off topic, but there was a gentleman that was on your show yesterday, right at the end, and I wasn't able to call in time. But when he said something, I ended up spitting my hot chocolate all over the inside of my windshield of my car. Because he reminded me of something that happened to me personally, and his suggestion was to always make sure you check the batteries in your nose hair clipper.
Yes.
Well,
what happened?
I'm one of those folks that just has, as you get older, the hair starts to slide off your head.
Yeah.
It starts to go out your ears and
Yep.
out your nose. Well, I was going making sure my nose hairs are all trimmed up nice, and all of a sudden that little machine just went zip, and stopped.
Oh.
And everything was knotted up in there.
Oh.
Like you said, it wasn't one hair that was about to get pulled.
Oh.
It was a wad. And when I can't back this one up, and I pulled that thing out, and I think my eye on that side teared for about a week.
Wow.
But when he said that, I literally had a mouth of coffee, and I immediately blew it all over the inside of my windshield.
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. Thank goodness my wife wasn't here, is because the first thing she would come out of her mouth was, I think that you guys have just experienced what women go through every day with shaving their legs or anything else. That's exactly what she would say. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. I saw with
brother.
Scott, I saw you when you called at the end of the show, and I was actually kind of sad that I didn't get to you. But thank you for calling back and letting me know.
Yeah, brother. I'll be calling again for sure.
Thank you, sir. I
Gotta have
appreciate
that
you.
comic relief.
Thank you, man. He's
Thanks,
100% right. That I've never had that happen, but you know what? That's exactly what I did yesterday. I went home and I changed the battery in my nose hair clipper. And you don't think that you need one until till you get one. And now I have it. But I will admit this: sometimes I forget that I have it. Sometimes I do. I forget that I have it in the house, and I'll go because my nose will tickle or something like that, and I forget that I have it. So if you have one, use it. You know what? We'll talk about it when we come back from the break. I just saw the trailer to a new movie coming out, because before it was just a teaser. There's a full trailer out now. I want to talk about that a little bit when we get a chance. Frank is on the line. We'll get to him. I know that he took a nosedive in gold the other day, so I'm sure he's going to talk about that. Remember, he was telling all of us to buy gold, and then earlier, what was it, last week? I think it was late last week. Gold took a nosedive. Oh. He was the first person I thought about. I was like, oh, that's just so horrible. What is he going to buy now? Whatever. We'll talk to him in a second. And that will wrap it up. Tomorrow's program, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? We don't have any guests scheduled. Yes, hump day. We don't have anybody scheduled for tomorrow. I do want to get Betsy on the line. Because she did not officially come on the air and say that she was going to do the debate. She only said that through a phone call to you. We want her on the air, so get her people on the phone. Betsy, you can call me up and just let me know that you will commit, because we want audio, audio confirmation that you're going to commit to it. We are working on it. This is not a pipe dream anymore, folks. Just so you know, this is not a pipe dream. I've talked to my boss. I've talked to Morgan Cunningham. I've talked to Brian Shackman. Everybody is on board. And so we are moving right now to do this. We have a date. That's how serious we are. Okay? And if you want to be a part of it, we've got a way for you to be a part of it as well. All right, so that's when literally we're getting the entire audience in, and we're going to do it up right. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Our good friend Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading in toward Hartford on the westbound side of 84, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. Eastbound 84 slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. 91 southbound delays 33 to 32. Another bump down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. 291, 384, no issues there. 2 westbound, a little tap of the brakes as you merge with 84 west. Heading 9 northbound, you'll see a little slow traffic moving up by exit 31 in Berlin. Also some slow traffic, 9 southbound 31 down to the 91 interchange in Cromwell. If you're on the westbound side of 84 in Cheshire, slowing 26 to 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Cheshire, a little tight on the 691 interchange. South 95 New Haven slows 46 down to 43. And South 91 New Haven got some slow traffic from exit 4 down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy the rest of this afternoon and remitting. Chilly, high 33. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Very cold overnight with a low of 6 above. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Again, chilly, high 33. Clear and very cold tomorrow night, low 8. Thursday, mostly sunny and chilly, high 31. Quite cold on Friday. Some sunshine to start, then increasing cloudiness, high just 26. We expect snow Friday night. Snow likely accumulating and coating into an inch, enough to make roads slippery. Low Friday night, 13. Then windy and bitterly cold this weekend. For Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine, a high of just 17. Feeling colder with the wind. Sunday, a good deal of sunshine, a high temperature 15. And again, the wind will make it feel even colder. Not quite as cold, not quite as windy on Monday. A good deal of sunshine. Monday's high reaching 22 degrees, and temperatures will moderate slightly as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A brother of Renee Good, the woman shot to death by ICE agents in Minneapolis last month, sparking nationwide protests, testified before Congress today. Luke Ganger says he is still trying to explain to his 4-year-old daughter why her aunt will not be coming home. Good was shot when agents say she wouldn't get out of her vehicle and drove toward an officer. Search is continuing for the missing mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, last seen on Saturday. Blood was found at her home, according to authorities who haven't said whose blood it is. One firefighter sustained minor injuries battling a house fire in Fairfield last night. Blaze broke out on Figler Street. No civilian injuries. Officials are crediting working smoke detectors with preventing tragedy. Meantime, in Manchester, firefighters were kept busy there earlier this morning. They were called to a home on Briarwood Drive. No word on the cause of that fire and no injuries there as well. Police in New Haven continue to investigate a Monday night shooting. They say a woman was found shot around 1 this morning on Howard Avenue. Injuries were believed to be non-life-threatening. House has passed a funding measure by the slimmest of margins. It passed by 3 votes, effectively ending the government shutdown. President Trump signed the measure into law this afternoon. The last bill, still to be worked out, covers the Department of Homeland Security, where Democrats are demanding more restrictions on enforcement operations. The Wall Street situation today, the Dow down 166 points, NASDAQ lost 336, S&P shed 58. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling sluggish, low energy, if your sleep is off, or if you're hitting the gym but not seeing real progress, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments, combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or visit northeastmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This year, flavor doesn't walk. It runs wild. At P.F. Chang's, we're charging into the year of the horse with bold new wok-fired dishes like pork belly bao buns and refreshing cocktails like the Midnight Gallop. P.F. Chang's beloved red envelope tradition returns, adding a surprise element to every visit during the Lunar New Year. Each guest receives a red envelope revealing a special offer redeemable on a future visit. Celebrate the Lunar New Year with flavor that runs wild at P.F. Chang's. Valid for dine-in only while supplies last. Details at pfchangs.com.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I'm watching this. I can't really play it on here because I don't I usually like to vet the videos before I play them, just for obvious reasons, language or anything like that. So if I'm reading this correctly, some podcast on NPR is talking to Melinda Gates, the former wife of Bill Gates. And the reporter or the podcaster is asking Melinda Gates about the story about her husband, former husband, Bill Gates, getting an STD from a Russian girl. And I'm reading it and see the look on her face and asking her how she felt about those reports. And she's talking about just sadness. But the look on her face is just so, awful. I feel so bad. Like, to have to be asked about that is like, ugh. It's just, I don't know. It's just messed up. Anyway, so the trailer came out today for the new Michael Jackson movie. And I think the movie's just simply called Michael. And I was looking at the trailer, and two things came to my mind. And that was, who is going to be watching this movie? And two, who's going to walk out of this movie going, I didn't learn anything new? And the only reason why I say that is because Michael Jackson's life was lived in front of us, not behind the scenes, not in any real meaningful way. I feel like everything we are going to see in this movie, it is not going to be anything, with maybe the exception of Joe Jackson, his father's abuse, mental and physical. Maybe we won't see that. Like, that'll be something that we see for the first time. There's this one scene in the trailer where they're having a family meeting and Joe is, obviously conducting. He's holding court with all the boys, telling them what we're going to do. And Michael goes something along the lines of, I don't know what to think. And Joe looks at him and he says, boy, I just told you what to think. It's such a cold line. But I watched that, like, I just looked at it, it was like, what an a-hole to say that to someone, much less your son. But, I mean, I get it. Joe was strict. In essence, like, if we really think about it, like, Joe was brilliant. But if he told him, it's like, if there's anyone who's structuring all of this, it's me. But to just see that scene where you hear the father say to his son, think, boy, I just told you what to think. Just cold. Just cold. And I have no idea why I'm finding it funny, but it's a cold-hearted thing to say. It is. It's just a mean-spirited thing to say to somebody. Think. That's not for you. Don't hurt yourself there, boy. God. Damn. Ugh. Wow. By the way, did you hear that Donald Trump said I should toy with Trevor Noah yesterday? I should toy with him. Somebody's feeling my vibe. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark, don't you think that's a cold thing to say to somebody? Your son goes, Dad, I don't know if I think we should think. Boy, I already think. I'm thinking for you.
Sometimes you have to, though, with these young guys.
He was a child, yes. With all respect due to Michael, he was a child at the time, and his father was forging his career.
Right.
And I'm like, Joe may not have been the most, let's just say, delicate individual in the world.
Now, who is Joe now? Fill me in the name.
Okay, so Joe is the boy's father.
Okay.
Joe Jackson is their father.
Oh, you're talking about the Jackson 5. I got you now.
Jackson 5.
They got a special coming out.
No, it's a new movie called Michael.
Yeah. It's coming out, in April?
I think it's coming out in April. So, so it showed the life of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But they showed this scene with Joe Jackson. Of course, they paint him like this bad guy.
Right.
And Joe's like, Michael's going, I don't think so, Dad. And Joe is like, think. Boy, I told you what to think. And it's just cold.
Joe is tough from what I've heard. So, Yeah, that'll be interesting to see that movie.
I know a bunch of boys in Hartford right now who could have done with a Joe. You know what I mean? Who would have needed a Joe in their life.
Yeah, straighten them, going to get them on the straight and narrow.
Absolutely.
A lot of these young guys don't have that father figure in their life, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're trying to paint Joe like Ike Turner.
Right. Exactly. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound side of 84 delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47. Eastbound 84 slows about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. If you are traveling on 9 northbound, look out for an accident between 30 and 31 on the Cromwell Middletown line. Also looks like we have a problem on the southbound side of Route 9 in that same area. That could be rubbernecking at that northbound accident, though. So look out for that. Southbound, you got delays between exit 31 and 30 as you move on the Berlin-Cromwell line. Now, if you're heading toward Waterbury right now, westbound 84 some sluggish traffic, 26 up to 25 in Waterbury. Eastbound 84 sluggish, 26 down to the 691 interchange. New Haven 95 southbound delays 46 to 43. Southbound on the Parkway delays 50 down in toward the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Very cold once again tonight. Partly to at times mostly cloudy sky. Low is 6 above 0. Partly sunny tomorrow. Chilly, high 33. Clear, very cold tomorrow night, a low of 8. A good deal of sunshine Thursday, still chilly, high 31. And Friday looks cold. Sunshine followed by clouds, high only 26. There'll be some snow in the area Friday night, leaving up to an inch or so, enough to make a road slippery. Following that snow will come windy, bitterly cold weather for the weekend with highs only in the teens. Right now it is 31 in Unionville. It's 30 degrees in Durham and 32 at Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolution, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver. From New Nordic, Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon or in stores at CVS, Wegmans, and now GNC.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audion Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
I saw that Melinda Gates clip. I just watched it. Damn. Your boy, Bill Gates, did his wife dirty. He did her dirty. And if I may say so myself, let me just do this. I'll take your phone calls in a second. But imagine you're being asked that, hey, there's a report out that says that your husband got an STD from a Russian girl and then had you taking the medication so that when he was at home sleeping with you, you wouldn't get the STD. That's how cold this dude is. Now, when somebody asked you that, and the representative of Bill Gates says that that story is false, even though it's in the Epstein files, which somebody now is in the chat room going, how come you ain't talking about him? Good. Sit back. You ask Bill Gates' former wife about that, Melinda. And here's how the exchange goes. Listen closely to her answer.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad.
Now, I got to be honest. You got to ask that simple question. Roland, you heard that for the first time. His representative said that none of that is true. His wife, responding to that, says, I had to leave my marriage. I'm thinking about those poor girls and what they went through. Does it sound like that woman is saying that those allegations are true? That sound like that to you? Sound like it to me. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. By the way, what's his name? Alphonse? Alphonse, I think that's his name. Yeah, Alphonse. Yeah, it's an interesting name. Alphonse, are you Italian? That's the only person I ever know with that name. Anyway, he says, why aren't you talking about Trump and the Epstein files? I know that it's not in the talking points you got from the Republicans. Who's the Republican, Alphonse? Which Republican? Or the Republicans, the shadowy figure who hands me my talking points. How do they send it? Is it in an email or by carrier pigeon? Or does some secret spy come in and we do a secret handshake where they hand me the microfilm? Okay, this may very well be the line of the day based on that story. From John Beckman, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be here all week. He writes this: how ironic it is that the founder of Windows actually had a virus. As I said, John Beckman, he'll be here all week. Tip your waitresses. Sean is in Meriden. How are you, Sean?
I'm good. You're always entertaining. You're hilarious. Even when you're sick, you're hilarious.
Thank you, sir.
It's like we're gonna just cut through this, and if I get through, I get through. If I don't, I don't. It's kind of nice to have normal around.
Thank you, sir.
But two questions I have. Well, one's a statement, and then the other one's a question. Mm-hmm. The statement is, I just called Senator Blumenthal.
Okay.
And asked his office about if he had any comment in reference to the waste, fraud, and abuse that's been discovered. And
here in Connecticut, I presume. Are you talking about Washington?
No, here in Connecticut.
Right.
And well, what happened under Biden, and then how it made its way to Connecticut, and what we're paying. And he goes, to my knowledge, there's been no fraud and abuse. I says, are you serious?
His office said that?
Yes. and I says, are you serious? He goes, yes. I says, dude, I am 66 years old, and I wasn't born on it, yesterday. How do you not know about the fraud and abuse in the Democratic Party?
They live in a bubble,
in the state
man.
of Connecticut.
They live in a bubble.
And he said, "Oh, I've only been here for 2 weeks." I said, "So you're telling me in 2 weeks you've never had a staff meeting?"
Was it? Did you should have? You know what he said when he said, "I've only been here 2 weeks." You should have said, "You mean you were born 2 weeks ago?"
Okay, now you're trying. I'm trying not to be mean. Okay, and I can get there real quick. So I'm trying to break that habit.
I totally get it. I appreciate you.
All right. One other question I have is: have you heard anything about the 2 labs that were found, one in Vegas and one in California, that had all the viruses?
Just saw the story an hour ago. In fact, when Brad was here, I was going through Twitter and I just saw that it was under a James O'Keefe piece, and I did see that and I saved it and I'm going to watch it tonight.
All right, yeah, check that out because I would like some more information on that. Because when I saw that, I'm like, okay, the 2 places, it's in California, and it's in Vegas.
In Vegas, that's right.
And I'm like, you got to be joking me. And they went in with hazmat suits and they found vials, and they had it on video on Fox Business.
Mm-hmm.
They have it on. They're taking out vials of COVID and new COVIDs and all this stuff. And the people they arrested were Chinese nationals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is not the first time, by the way. Not the first time that they found Chinese nationals in some sort of makeshift lab inside of a double wide out in the desert.
Actually, these were in like affluent communities.
Uh-huh.
But didn't they also have stuff in Michigan where they caught people trying to smuggle in viruses?
That's correct.
In a college?
Yep.
Actually, the University of Michigan.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. They did. Thank you, Sean.
So,
I'm going to check on it.
Homework on that,
I
please.
am. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it tonight. Thank you, boss.
All right, thank you, sir.
You
Appreciate
got it.
you.
Let's get our good friend Frankie Boy. Hello, Paisan. What's going on, sir?
Boy, I felt bad Saturday night. That was what happened Friday night was brutal.
So you watched this gold just plummet.
Yeah, I tell you.
It wasn't even a lot. It wasn't even like it corrected within, what was it, like an hour?
I mean, you could have taken a shower and come back and couldn't believe what happened. I couldn't believe I was watching the screen. What did everybody do? Sell while I was gone?
It was crazy because I was saying to myself, now, tell the truth, Frank. Yeah. How much money did you lose?
I didn't lose anything because I didn't sell.
Okay, you didn't sell. Okay, good.
And I told everybody over the weekend, I was telling Ron it was crazy, but from the phone calls of people, just don't panic. By late Monday afternoon, it'll clear out, and Tuesday will be a big day. And we had a big day. We went up over $300 today. You can't panic. You cannot panic in life.
No, of course not. Not in that market, and not in any market. No. Hey, Roland, what was the thing that the guy called and said? Okay, so when was the last time that gold paid dividends, Frank?
Gold doesn't pay dividends. Let me tell you what gold really is.
Okay.
Gold is an insurance policy against the government printing and devaluing currency. And since August 15th, 1971, the U.S. dollar's lost 90% of its value against gold. That's why when you go to the supermarket with a $100 bill, you can't buy anything. It has no purchasing power. It doesn't. And let me give you another thing I found out today. Even with that big sell-off, since 2000, gold has outperformed the S&P 500 with the dividends included. It's been the best investment for 25 years. But I told people to buy today, and here's my prediction. By the end of the year, gold will be at 6,000 or higher. 6,000 or higher. That's why it's 4,900 now. It will be 6,000 or higher. But that's not why I'm calling. I wanted to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
How could somebody break into an 84-year-old woman's house, assault her while she was sleeping, kidnap her, and now there's a ransom note I heard?
Yes, TMZ is reporting. He's talking, of course, about Savannah Guthrie of NBC News' the Today Show's mom, who has since gone missing. TMZ is reporting that they received a ransom note for her return. Why they would send it to TMZ, I have no clue.
They want crypto, I heard, too.
Do they want crypto? I mean,
yeah,
what is she? Isn't she an 80-something-year-old woman?
Oh, my God. Can't you think of somebody better to kidnap? I mean, she could die while you wait.
You know what? I'm telling you. You know what I was thinking earlier today? And it's sad, and I don't say this jokingly about, Savannah Guthrie. I don't know her or her family or anything like that. She's no colleague of mine. But you know what was running through my mind? Because it seems like such a random kidnapping to take this woman in the way in which they did. But I was saying to myself, wouldn't we all kind of lose it a little if we found out that Savannah Guthrie's mom back in the 1950s was a double agent for like Russia? Like, it would be astonishing if we were to find out that she had lived a double life in secrecy, and the reason why she was kidnapped was because truly she was a double agent for the government at some time. It's not like the woman didn't have a life at some time. So,
no, but see, I always believe the woman should never live alone. It's too dangerous.
I agree, especially only, 40 minutes from the border?
From the border? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
With those animals on the other side?
But you know what, And Savannah Guthrie, probably like her family, don't believe that the border is an issue. You know what I mean? She probably looks at that as probably goes, it's just exaggerated. What's that?
Why doesn't the mother move in with her? Build her a mother.
Exactly. Savannah Guthrie makes a crap load of money. How do you not put her in a little mother-in-law suite on the side?
My mother lives with me now. 15 years now, my mother. I would never let my mother live. She lives here with my wife and I.
Well, that's because you Italian boys are weird when it comes to your mom. You guys live in the house 2-3 generations. You think everything is Sicily with you guys. It doesn't matter where you live.
You can't. It's too dangerous for a woman to live alone. I really believe that in this day and age.
Yes, I understand. I totally understand.
You have daughters, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Listen to me. First of all, my mother would never live alone, so that's never the case. She lived with me, or she lives with my sister. So I totally agree with you in that regard. But I'm just saying that you Italian guys are really weird when it comes to moms. You guys won't let your moms go. You won't let your moms go 2 feet away from you without you guys escorting her there.
Hey, if it wasn't for our mothers, we wouldn't be here now.
Yes, I understand. You guys and your moms are absolutely inseparable. Moms going nowhere. And you know it's crazy because moms are always taking care of you. Does your mom still cook?
Yeah, 103. She still makes dinner once in a while.
Still makes dinner, right? Still does.
Makes the sauce.
Of course she does. I know. Hey, listen, I know that you guys are all the same. I'm sorry. It's a stereotype you guys will never walk away from, and you love every bit of it. Every bit of it.
Hey,
in fact, I will ask you this. In fact, Frank, seriously, how many tank top T-shirts do you own?
Not a lot.
I'm sorry. That's a big.
In the old days, she used to iron my shirts.
Of course she did. I got to get out of here. God bless you, boss. You got it. I'm telling you, it sounds corny, but when I was growing up, that's all I ever wanted to be. Because everybody I knew in my neighborhood was Italian. They just all, they had a certain way about them. God bless Frank. All right, we got to get up out of here. We got plenty of news and plenty of views coming up tomorrow. We've also got new music about Don Lemon coming up, so stand by for that. You don't want to miss that new song. We'll have that for you. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese On The Radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. Mark Christopher is getting you home. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Good night, Reese. Thank you. If you're heading 84 eastbound into Hartford right now, you're going to see some slow traffic. 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84, just a slight slowdown. Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. Both sides of 91 moving